Oh, okay, we're live. All right, well, hi everybody.
I'm alive.
Hello!
Alive!
Welcome to the RetroBlasting Saturday live stream.
It's alive.
For those of you who are new and just tuning in, my name is Michael French.
And I'm Melinda Mock.
And I'm Aaron. I'm doing computer
Just
stuff
Aaron,
like...
kind of like Madonna.
Hey.
We say that with sarcasm because there are a lot of hosts of channels and they love to do that, and it's kind of like...
I do it at the beginning of every podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's different because people can't see your face, so they don't get familiar.
They
with
might
you.
think you're me.
Right.
They could
They
have...
might get our
Oh,
voices mixed up.
is
People
that
do
the man Aaron talking?
Yeah.
So Melinda, are you actually going to be talking arcade games with us today?
Nope.
So what's the plan then?
Tim is going to come over and sit here and do this show because I have literally nothing to contribute.
Okay.
But I wanted to say hello to you all. So
All right.
I will be on mic and I will be in the chat reading your questions.
So Melinda's the voice of God.
Not reading them out loud, but reading them to myself. And
But
Aaron,
muttering a little quietly under your breath.
Yeah, and I will
I'll
also
fix
have
that.
the non-super chat questions, so I may yell out a question that got missed. So
she will yell to
maybe
keep us on
your
time.
question will be the question that really sparks my interest, and I will.
All right. Fair enough.
All right.
So if you do good enough, she'll talk.
Yeah, that's right. No pressure.
Try
have a
harder.
great live stream, dear.
Hmm?
Have a great live stream.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Scuba
it.
Pete says Melinda reads all our secret thoughts.
So yeah. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
All
I
right.
think it's totally bad because now I'm like, Melinda's way nicer to look at than me. So
Well, Melinda's nicer to look at than all of us.
Yeah. Hate to break it to you, buddy.
So we have to deliver laughs and humor. We are discussing the arcade game experience today. We thought we would touch on that a little bit. In the past, I feel like we've talked some video game stuff, but it was more like home console
right.
type stuff. Now you will see Nintendo games up here, but they are merely representative of arcade machines that were ported over to other consoles, just trying to show some iconography. Obviously, we don't collect arcade cabinets. I have the arcade.
We wish.
Yeah.
We wish.
Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be a very large habit.
Yeah.
You almost need to
And
pick
Quite expensive.
And expensive habits.
your favorite 4 or 5.
Right.
Take out a mortgage the house.
Which some of them are shockingly expensive. Not as expensive per unit as your average pinball machine, but
Although,
yeah.
and I made Michael promise me once we're all making $1 gajillion a year and we have our own building. And,
We'll be
you know,
dead.
I do get to design the waiting room for visitors, and it's going to be a classic 80s arcade.
Like Flynn's.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
that'd
going to
be
be like
cool.
a Flynn's in a waiting
Right.
room. You know,
And it will
that's
just
going to be awesome.
It will just play separate ways on loop
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh, there'll be a jukebox and everything.
Yeah.
But nothing past 89.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Aaron. Sorry.
Why are you sorry about
Just kidding.
Does that mean that
does that
Paula
even mean?
Abdul will be on the jukebox?
Well, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
Straight up now, tell me, do you really want to know
Me forever. Oh.
we just did that. Yeah. So
It's my fault.
So the 80s, not the 80s, but the arcade experience, because we're not limiting it to the 80s. We're talking about like all the way through the early 90s, really. Did you go to the arcade like? Because there was always Showbiz and Chuck E. Cheese, but was there like the dedicated arcades that you would go to?
Yes.
Okay, where were they?
So I was I was fairly young. I think I started around 6 years old playing arcade games, and me, Melinda, and Aaron were talking about this earlier today. And this was the one thing my dad was really cool about. He loved arcade games too, so there became a tradition in my neighborhood. Fridays was payday, back when everybody got paid every week instead of bi-weekly. And my dad would grab me and several of the neighborhood kids, and every Friday night of payday, we would go to our mall. And there was a timeout. Everybody remembers the original classic timeout.
Right.
And it's the song's right, pocket full of quarters and
Yeah.
go to the arcade.
Yeah.
You know, that was, and we did that for several years in elementary school, and it was great. So I used just great fun. I mean, those Friday nights were some of the best Friday nights I have in memory.
Yeah, and it was like a mix of, it wasn't just little kids at the arcade. It was, in fact, more teenagers and
Yes.
adults at the arcade
Yep.
than anything else. You and I are closer in age, and so you and I were about the same age when a lot of these classic arcades were on. So like Frogger, Pac-Man, Star Wars. Yes.
Knight of Ren, sorry to hear that you have COVID and that you're not feeling well.
Oh
So,
no!
Yep.
You know.
I'm so
Oh.
sorry.
So instead of drinking alcohol, just drink some NyQuil or Dayquil or whatever. whenever
Yeah,
my
take-
kid gets
Although alcohol does kill things.
Take
But it
care
is
of
not
yourself.
it dehydrates you as well. Don't
It is
do
not
that.
a
I know, I
treatment for
Don't do that.
COVID-19. Scott Knudsen, thank you very much for your super chat. He said, whoever made decisions back then, but I give them a lot of credit for the Star Wars game. They could easily have just put out an Asteroids clone in 78 with an X-Wing in the middle, but they did it right with Atari.
Oh,
Yeah, they really did. They really did. They did. Do you want me to read that for you? The next one?
No, it's, well, I mean, you can.
I mean, do you, or would you go ahead? You read it. See how it works.
No, I want to hear you read it now.
Okay. Aaron, it's Aaron, that ever Aaron, was walking past the house of a mad scientist and said, "What's he building in there?" When he heard someone
Nice.
scream, "This looks like a job for Aaron Man."
I wonder what my transformation would be.
I know, right?
I just unzip starting from my hair, just whoop, and I'm a totally different person. But then I'm not Aaron.
I picture
Would be.
Sapida Man.
Bjorn says, I don't know what I did, but I kind of broke the Pod Racer arcade game by playing it twice in a row at Chuck E. Cheese.
That would have been '99 when the Pod Racer Simulator
That was a
out.
fun game. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was a fun, it was hard, but it was a fun game.
I played it on the N64 primarily.
Yep, me
There's
too.
going to be a lot of this today where it's like either I played it on the PC or I played it on a console.
Yeah.
Whereas Tim spent a lot of time in the actual arcades.
There were stages to arcade evolution.
Oh yes.
So like, just before we go into the specific games, like I remember, first it was all about high score and skill-based reflexes. So the games were kind of surreal, like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and they were repetitive, but in the sense of the levels just kept getting harder.
Yep,
and
faster.
and you wanted your 3 letters, your initials,
Oh, yeah.
at the top of that board.
And does everybody remember how ticked off you would be because you would earn a spot, but you had done it so few times you couldn't figure out how to make your
Yes.
initials, and it ended up being WWW
or just 3 blanks.
Zerg, and
3
you're just
blanks.
You're
like,
ahead of your
and you're just
time.
like, no. So,
No
yeah.
one will know who I am.
Nobody will know my
that was a
accomplishments
thing,
in life.
though. Everybody had their own handles that they would type in, and I was
Yeah.
always just AAA. Like I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
I'm
was
already
saying, like-
bored with this.
Yeah, it's like I was like any game where you see AAA, that's me.
Yeah, all of them are Michael or me, one or the other.
That
Right.
means he played every game come from the factory.
Right.
Every one. You're
Every
awesome.
single, yeah.
You're awesome.
And then
Totally
with
amazing.
I
That's
think
how
it-
you get the nickname AAA.
Yeah.
and it was
I
somewhere.
also will help you with like a flat tire or.
I'm going to
other
start
car
calling Aaron
problems.
AAA now.
Yeah, like Triple H, but less.
Oh man.
So somewhere around the time of Gauntlet and Double Dragon, the games figured out, hey, co-op play is a thing. Because remember, 2-player games
Yes.
before was one person had to die and then it would say player 2 ready, and then they would try and play as long as they could. Gauntlet and Double Dragon were, hey, you're both on the screen at the same time, you're both fighting for the same objective. And so the beat 'em up thing happened. You know, you had Ninja Turtles, Ninja Gaiden, Konami's.
Wasn't that really, I guess, isn't there a really good defining line between like 89 and 90 in that regard? Because to me,
Yeah.
for some reason,
Yeah.
I consider Double Dragon, Gauntlet, all that stuff was really like 90 and beyond.
But early, like the mid to late 80s, you started to get things like Golden Axe, and
Right, yeah.
a few of those were slipping in. The original Double Dragon was in there.
Well, speaking of the original Double Dragon, Robert Hart says, "What is our all-time favorite game for each of us?"
Ooh.
it's hard to say because everybody's kind of got. I will say for,
No, you don't have to guess what ours are. We just want to know what yours
Well,
is.
no, I get that.
Okay, just making
Thank
sure.
you, though. That's
Didn't
a-
want to
that's
set
a-
it
that's
too
a-
too hard. Difficulty go down.
For early
Set it on easy mode
Yeah,
for me,
for
please.
early 80s, Miss Pac-Man was my game.
Uh-huh.
And these guys have seen anytime I see a Miss Pac-Man game,
He plays it.
I have to play it. It's a thing.
Right.
But when we started getting into the late 80s, I have to say the cabinet version of Afterburner
Uh-huh.
that the seat
The seat
swung
would-
left and
yeah, it
right
would-
and the
How
whole cabinet
hard
would go
was
up
it
and
to
down.
get into that game?
And it was like $1, and back then it's like
Yeah.
it's $1 was serious money.
I remember you would
Yeah.
balk at a 50-cent game.
right.
You know?
Oh, they're getting greedy.
I know, but then $1, it was like, Am I in a millionaire's arcade? What is this?
Oh,
I could get over a gallon of gas for this.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Back then, you could get like 3 gallons
Well,
of gas.
Right.
But okay, so your favorite arcade game early on was
Miss Pac-Man.
then
hands
Afterburner.
down. Yep.
Okay, what about you?
I played a whole lot of Kung Fu Master. Doesn't mean I was good at it,
Right.
But that
Oh,
was
that was
one
a
that
great
always
game.
drew me to it. Even like, especially when it moved on to the Nintendo system, I played
Uh-huh.
it. And then also, my granddad had one of those weird Next OS computers,
right.
And it also had a clone of Kung Fu Master.
Oh,
on it
so
that
you
could
were
play.
like getting good at home, and then when you go to the arcade,
You were the one we all hated.
Yeah. yeah.
No, I was just smirk and spin my quarters like candy at the arcade. And go roller skating.
Right,
'Cause
right.
I
right.
played a lot of.
Oh, yes.
What was the name of that roller rink in Huntsville?
Well, it was the Skate Castle, and then,
And then there was like Rainbow. or
yes,
something.
Rainbow City or
Rainbow-
something like that.
Yeah, and there is where I did most of my arcade
Mm-hmm.
playing because the daycare that I went to every Wednesday would load all the kids up in the bus and take us roller skating, and so I
Mm-hmm.
would split my time between.
Right.
Hell, I want to go to your daycare.
No
I don't know. I
kidding.
mean, like I was like, if we got to go outside in my daycare.
Sometimes they let us have Play-Doh.
We were, this is no
I
joke.
mean-
We were on the news because there was a bad storm, and it knocked a bunch of trees down behind the daycare. And the son of the lady who owned the daycare came out with a chainsaw and cut the branches up. And then our job was to haul all of it to the street. And the news showed up, and it was just a bunch of kids walking by, like dragging branches. I got home and I was like, "Look, I'm on TV, Mom."
Wow.
And she was like. But anyway,
So my favorite arcade.
it had its ups and downs, is all I'm saying. Michael, your favorite arcade game is?
My favorite arcade game early on was Star Wars, but I had fascinations with Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom because I only got to play it once and then it was gone. So my whole childhood, I would draw pictures of the game layout. I was fascinated with the game. Never could play it again. I have it on emulator now. Would love to own the actual cabinet for that. And then the other early game that I really liked, oddly, which I always played at Showbiz, was Buck Rogers and the Planet of Zoom.
Whoa.
It was right.
I thought you'd be a Zephyr guy.
Well, I remember that one, but Buck Rogers and the Planet of Zoom was one where you got a sit-down cabinet and you could play it, and it was from the back of your Starfighter, and you were flying around, and you could almost make it a Star Wars game in your mind, but with color graphics rather than vector.
Well, there used to be a. It wasn't Firefox because I know, but
Uh-huh.
there was a game made on the movie, the Clint Eastwood movie
Firefox.
And if you remember, it was actual video
Oh,
of a jet flying, but then
Right.
they imposed the Firefox like
uh-huh.
jet in there, and you would fly, and it was a great game. It was in a cabinet, but it didn't move.
Right.
And I can't remember the name of that.
But you
game.
could go to Facebook on it. Did you have a favorite game before I moved to the next super chat?
I
No?
mean, I got to play Gauntlet one time as an adult, and I enjoyed that. But as a girl, it was very intimidating to try to play a game for the first time with a bunch of guys standing around being mad because they wanted to play the game, and you're a girl.
Did you
and
walk up and put your quarter on the... on the
No,
edge of
like
the
I didn't
screen?
understand. Like I didn't have any friends who played arcade games either. So it was like one of those things where you had to have someone to sort of usher you in. It's
Needed
kind
a
of like
guide.
we talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
So like having a gateway friend who like Dungeons and Dragons is another thing. You can't just start playing that by yourself. You kind of need other friends to do it. And as a female,
your
girls
guild?
just really didn't. It was a very like gender segregated world in the 80s, and so at least where I lived, girls really didn't play at the roller rink. We skated and the boys played the arcade games.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't really know how to do it, and I didn't want to like learn in front of a bunch of guys going, "Hurry up, girl, we're ready to play." Like really play. Like you're annoying. Like you don't know what you're doing. You know.
I'm 12 and I'm a professional gauntlet player.
Well, they all acted like
Get out of
they
the way.
like it amazes me to hear you guys didn't know how to put your initials in, because guys always acted like they knew how to do all of it, and I was like, I don't even know
Well, and
what
there were
button
some
to
guys
press.
who did, like, but it was like a tag that they would try.
It's literally
they
like going
figured it
to a
out.
gym and not knowing how to use any of the equipment, so you just don't ever try because you don't want to look
Oh, well, that
stupid in
hasn't
front of all the
changed.
people.
I
It's the
haven't-
that never
same
changed.
feeling. It's the same feeling.
So I got a poser for everybody.
Okay.
With this one,
A
Master
poser?
Son 42, like a question to pose you, not a poser. But he says, "Help me out. Name of game in the 80s. You flew a Veritech type jet, but it was not Robotech. It transformed from a plane to a robot. Does that ring any bells? It doesn't for me.
And it was in the 80s?
Joel says it's called Sidearms.
I'll take Joel's answer
Yeah,
for.
because I don't recall that one.
Yeah, I'll take Joel's answer because the only things that I can remember where a humanoid type person was flying was like Space Harrier, but he didn't transform into a jet.
Well,
He was just
arcades were strangely regionalized
Right.
too, like television shows at the time. You know, we didn't have Robotech in the southeast,
Right.
the deep south, but arcades. Like I remember when we would go visit family in Virginia, they had a whole different kind of. There was different video games up there, and it was always interesting to go. So I think there definitely was some regionalization of games.
There totally was. I just read before the live stream a few days ago the big double wide 6-player X-Men console cabinet. Somebody on the internet on Reddit was claiming that there were actually only 600 of those made.
Wow,
and
I feel like I've been around one.
Yeah, and everybody was
remember
saying
there was
that. They were
one,
like, that
yeah.
seems low because I saw that thing everywhere I went. And somebody said, no, if you lived in the Midwest area of Michigan, Illinois, that's where it was manufactured. So you might have seen more of them in small towns there. But otherwise, and I'm going, no, I saw one in Nashville, saw one in Atlanta, saw them.
Birmingham.
Yeah, so, but
Yeah.
you're right. There are claims that certain things might have been more
very
regional.
Well, and there was more of a small mom and pa feel to the maintaining of those cabinets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's
you're
no
absolutely
telling
right.
if somebody got really good at making their own cabinets and sort of putting them in places because people tried to put their spin on it. Scuba Pete, thank you very much. He says, traveling as kids, we would stay at a Holiday Inn Holodomes. He always hit the pool, or we always hit the pool, and then stupidly would go hit their arcade, still wet, and get mildly shocked by the game cabinets.
Actually,
It's a good memory.
Actually, I do remember getting shocked by one or two.
Really?
cabinets. Well, yeah, not even after swimming. Like there was times.
Kids are just wet and sticky.
Well,
It's
arcades.
true.
Arcades were not exactly sanitary. I mean,
You
Yeah.
don't
in
say.
the early '80s, remember how they had carpet not just on the floor but on the wall.
Yes, yes.
And there was always a layer of smoke.
And
Yes.
Dr.
You
Pepper.
know,
Yes.
you'd go to play Pac-Man and there's an ashtray, like
Uh-huh.
ashes all down the front of the machine. But
Yep.
there were times, and I do recall, where you'd be touching a joystick and playing, and you remember there used to be a little red metal ring, and if your thumb touched it, sometimes they would shock you.
Yeah,
and
and
you
it-
are absolutely right.
But eventually the joysticks had a plastic cover underneath
Yes.
that would move with it for that very reason.
Yes.
Oh, like
But
a
I
stick
remember-
shifter in a car.
I remember
Yeah,
getting a little
yeah.
tingle. I remember getting a little tingle.
Wow. Wow.
Travels with Jason F. Thank you very much. He says, it's Candyman. You got any of that chocolate left that I sent you? If not, I will be sending more soon. Any requests that you all
Hey,
would
little
like?
girl.
It's
Do
Candy.
you want some
So I'm just
candy?
gonna say this, like, you know, I haven't eaten any of the candy because I've been on like a diet for like 6 months.
Really, Melinda? Why have you been on a diet for 6 months?
Well, because okay. Michael,
Sorry.
would you like to tell the people why? I've been on a-
Sorry.
No,
is
no,
this
that's
bad?
fine,
Is
that's
this bad
fine.
timing?
I want you to know that Melinda's on a diet of her own volition. I had nothing to do with it. But at the end of October, Melinda and I are getting married. So that's why she hasn't been able to eat any of the candy, because she didn't want to. I didn't stop her.
Well,
She
I never
stopped herself.
implied that you
So to
stopped me
answer-
at all. So to answer the question,
All of
we
the
probably still have all of the candy, although Michael has eaten a number of moon pies, which killed my soul on some level because I love moon pies so much,
Tell
and
me
I
he
love
hasn't eaten all the moon
shortbread. No, he hasn't, and I
He's
love
eaten a
all of
lot.
the things that have been sent. So the amount of willpower that I have been exerting, I just want you guys to know. But
We're all very
the
impressed.
weekend after next, we will not be having a live stream. So we did want to tell you guys why. It's because we will be getting married, and therefore
Not all of us.
just
That's-
the
Well,
two. Of us.
but I want all of us to get married.
But not like that.
Tim,
You
I think
know.
we make good friends.
But
I like
just
our
stop-
relationship the
stop
way it
fighting
is.
Just stop fighting it.
So I mean, people are saying I thought you guys were married. Well, we've been together for 11 years. So
Yeah.
we're just
long
making it
time.
official in the eyes of
Look,
the
I
law.
tell you what, there is a story there. I don't want to derail the live stream because we've got super chat questions.
I know.
We do.
I'm
So
just-
anybody that's that curious about that the answer to that question. We'll talk about it in the after show.
There
That's
you
right.
go.
Makes sense.
I just wanted to let you know why we weren't
And-
going to be here in a couple weeks.
And by the way, I will be at the wedding, and I will be doing some lens clips for Patreons and things.
my
'cause
God.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
I mean, what?
Okay.
Glad we all talked about that. That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So,
this lunchbox is awesome. This is a great lunchbox.
oh, this
So
is my first
Venkman.
lunchbox.
I had that lunchbox.
Venkman's
Was
back
that
with
your
another-
actual one?
No.
Oh.
It's an exact.
Oh,
Well, I
it's
didn't mean to take away from it or
Yeah.
anything.
Speaking of
Oh.
lunchboxes,
Bump, 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 bump.
gentlemen. Speaking of lunchboxes, Venkman's got another installment for you to read, Mike.
Oh. Aaron jumped into action. He crashed through the wall, Kool-Aid Man style, and said, "There's no need to fear. Aaron Man is here."
Oh,
then Then a voice said, "What the hell, man? Why'd you do that to my wall?"
Then I backed slowly out of the room.
For some reason, when you say Aaron Man, I associate it with Florida
Peter Man. I think of Hey
Well, I mean,
Peter
you
Man.
could almost put a list of crazy things Aaron Man has done next to Florida Man.
What about Office Space?
What?
Hey-
Yeah.
Hey
I mean,
Peter Man, you watching this on Channel 4?
Peter Man. Hey, Peter Man.
Check out Channel
Thank
9.
you. I knew you could do
Gotta
it.
remember his
Yeah.
voice. Talking to people. Hey, Peter Man. World Made of Cardboard says, just joined. Your opinion of why it seems to be hard to make a movie adaptation of a video game.
Good question, World Made
Ooh,
of
that is a
Cardboard.
good one.
I have not. I mean, I know back in the '90s, everyone was like, "Mortal Kombat's like the best video game adaptation ever," and I'm like, "Have you seen it lately?" Because
Not hold up.
yeah. I guess because Hollywood is that corporate thing where they want the successful property, but then they're scared of what they don't understand, and so they want to change it into something conventional to grab the widest possible audience, even though video games are mainstream. So they don't.
Yes.
Corporate people are not mainstream.
Oh, yeah,
They're
yeah.
weirdos, and so they mess everything up.
I just don't
They're
know
not
that
weird
there's,
enough.
For me, the majority of games are not deep enough for there to be a real story about.
And it
True.
sort of
I
draws
mean,
attention to that.
Yeah, especially the
Like
early
Battleship.
games.
Did any of you
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to watch
yeah, but
Battleship?
I actually own it on 4K. I actually enjoy that movie. It's a fun movie
It
to
was
watch.
a spectacle.
But it was a spectacle. That's what
Yeah.
it was. It was just a lot of lights and explosions. And yes, Tim's easily entertained, and I like that.
That's
But
we're all
I'm just
envious,
saying,
actually.
Look, I'm being honest.
It would be nice.
I'm trying to
be
think
in
of
it.
all the various video game movies.
Oh my
so
gosh.
so like there's
But then you have things like The Last Starfighter that wasn't about a video game necessarily,
Right.
but it was a better video game movie.
right, yeah, that was the
Yes.
movie that responded to the arcade cabinet craze, and made it a plot point. But like, I'm trying to think. Like Super Mario Brothers was terrible.
Yes.
Mortal Kombat doesn't really age that well, but it was the best we had at the time.
They tried really hard.
Right. Street Fighter had Kylie Minogue, but that didn't save it.
Oh, that was a
Let me think. Tomb Raider has only made one halfway meh movie out of 3, and that was the second one that nobody went to see.
Aaron
Yep.
approves
Um,
of the use of meth.
yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Double Dragon had a movie. That was terrible. Nobody wants to talk about the Double Dragon movie.
nobody remembers the Double Dragon.
Yeah. So I think it's a matter of them trying to homogenize these and what Tim said also, trying to, I guess, beef up the story to make a 2-hour runtime, even though some games now last 8 hours.
Well, but I mean
play.
that's something can be said for the fact that Tomb Raider though was a great story for a video game, but it was never a cabinet video game. It was
Right.
a
It was a
game.
console game. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Michael.
so
Oh, sorry.
oh, go ahead.
Master Painter wants to know where you got that Star Wars arcade cabinet behind you.
We found this when it came out.
We?
Wow.
Okay.
Get out of the way of that
First
glare.
of all,
Jeez.
it is a Wii because I was the one that knew about it and asked for it for Christmas.
Is it a royal
So
Wii?
grumpy.
I'm gonna have to get Melinda a Nerf gun. Just literally-
Oh, I've got them in there if you want me to grab one. Rogue One branded and everything. Star Wars!
You know, Nerf guns were extremely popular in small towns, and like Wiccan Person here says, thank you very much. In small towns, at least, dedicated arcades and pool halls, bowling alleys could be fairly sketchy. So I was only allowed to play machines at the mall.
Yeah, Wicked. It was the same way for me. We went to Showbiz or the mall. There
Yes.
wasn't, or sometimes the opening entryway at Hills. Other than that, You
Or
know,
Walmart, even.
Walmart, yeah.
Kmart.
Target even had them.
Kroger's.
Kroger.
Oh,
That's
there
where
was
the Star
always
Wars
up there by
cabinet
the eye
was.
doctor place.
Yes.
There would be a couple of sketch.
Yeah,
things.
and in the entryway of Pizza Hut, there
Yes.
was always.
Do you remember
Oh,
those
God,
cabinets that
Father's
purported to
Pizza.
have all the games on them? They started showing up in the late
Yeah,
80s,
those,
90s.
I never liked those. For
I
some
never
reason, because it was
did either.
just off-brand enough to be
Well,
weird.
it was like the Neo Geo cabinet,
Yes.
and you're
It's
like,
like-
I don't want to play any Neo Geo games.
It's
I
like
don't
the
even know what
Dr.
this is.
Thunder of Street Fighter. or
Yeah,
something.
and then there was the Nintendo cabinets like that early on before the console came out, where you had
Yeah,
Super
I
Mario
think.
Brothers and Kid Icarus and all that stuff.
Yes, I do remember
Mhm.
that. By that time, I was
Yeah.
off being adult.
So to answer the question from before, it was a Walmart exclusive,
Yes.
and they didn't actually have it in the store. So
Right.
I went
Give
out of
yourself
my
all the
way.
credit. Go ahead.
I'm just taking the part of the credit that's mine. So
Uh-huh.
I went online because I knew Michael really wanted one. So I scoured it and I figured out that you could order it from Walmart online,
Right.
which I don't love to support Walmart, but it was the only place to get it.
Right.
And so I got it, and it didn't even get here, I don't think, until after Christmas, but I got it for you for Christmas.
Yep. It was like
And-
it came up like the day after Christmas or something.
We've had many in between breaks where we've sat at this thing and played the game
Mm-hmm.
together. And
No, it came before Christmas. Remember, it sat in front of the tree, and
It
then
came before the
I-
next
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
It was
true.
not
Yeah.
supposed to get here till after, but I think it did.
But it's great. It has all 3 games on it. All 3 Star Wars games, arcade versions, Jedi, Empire, and Star Wars. It's great.
now that's a great story. So why don't you tell them what this is in front of the
Oh,
lunchbox
right.
and the story
before
behind
we
that?
do that, Scott
Okay.
Newton, thank you very much. I think the community commonly agreed on etiquette to enforce in the arcades, made for a much more valuable, much more real social experience than any current online game can ever provide. No kidding.
This is
Wow.
true.
Learn to play. We lost something good when we lost arcades. And Connor Fuller weighs in. Thank you very much. He says, we used to get money on Friday, and I'd run straight to the arcade after school to play Operation Wolf. I must have spent a fortune on that game.
Because that's the only way a kid would ever be able to fire an Uzi, was Operation Wolf. And we knew it, and so we had to play
Is
it.
that something you'd like to fix, or what's going on?
Everybody wants to secretly fix being able to fire an Uzi.
Yeah, everybody. I remember I would modify my squirt guns to look like Uzis.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Please, I know you've got some more super chats, so I don't want to stop you.
Oh well, okay. I'll just scroll back up because you know how YouTube.
I think there was
is.
another one up there.
Zantara is the next one.
Yeah, I marked it.
Learn how to play, Aaron.
Yeah, I know.
Learn how to scroll.
What happened?
Learn how to
even,
scroll.
even during
I'm
a live
going.
stream where
I'm
it just
going.
takes control. of
I'm
your-
going. It did the thing. It did the
Do you
thing.
want me
and
to
now
read
I'm-
it? It says-
Yeah,
it
I actually
says-
just found it. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Melinda, please, I would like you to read it.
Fun fact, Ninja 3 The Domination features an arcade game in the main character's home called Bouncer that never got a wide release and is now lost like a silent movie. Finding it is a holy grail quest of arcade collectors.
Interesting. Did not.
I
know that.
remember that game in her apartment, but I didn't know it was rare.
I did not know that. I am
Wow.
not familiar with it.
Jeff Laho, thank you very much. With a reminder here: winners don't use drugs. I should have waited till after you drank that RC Cola.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'll go ahead and read the next Vankman for
Okay.
you. Aaron Man saw what the trouble was. A mad scientist was trying to fight off a giant green blob monster that was eating him. Looks like you need some help. No, I've got the situation under control.
All right. So now you have to explain it. This is a great story about what this is in front of the lunchbox. So.
Okay, so Aaron was talking about how arcade games were mom and pop maintained a few minutes ago. This is a unused marquee that would have modified an original Star Wars arcade cabinet to adapt it into the Empire Strikes Back board upgrade. So this would have been put on the front where this was, and then you would have had the new board put in so you could play Empire Strikes Back, and there would have been some stickers you put on the side. So to your point, you know, sometimes when the arcade owners wanted to change up a game, Atari or somebody would say, well, we can take the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom cabinet and send you a new board, and it's now, you know, Cluster Bomb 4 or something like that.
Right.
Master Son 42 says, I know I'm invited to the wedding or the party.
Did you read Vinkman's other Iron Man?
Yes,
Okay.
he did.
Saw what the trouble was? Starts with?
No. Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. I know this is uncomfortable for you. Scott Knudsen says, do Michael's vows consist of just saying, I know? It's a Han Solo reference.
Yeah.
Just in case you're curious.
I'm with it. Got it.
That would be funny.
They better
for,
not.
Like 30 seconds.
My
That's a good one. That is great.
after almost 11 years, my relationship with Melinda will last 3 hours maybe, and then I'll be murdered.
You know, the first time he did that to me, like early on in our relationship, when I said I love you and he said I know, I almost punched him in the face.
It is conditioning, all right? You hear the words I
You've
love
been
you
waiting.
and you just say I know. It's just conditioning.
You've been waiting your whole life for an opportunity to say I know. Ever since you saw that in the movie.
Oh man. Good stuff.
What's funny is I think that Trish is the one more likely to say I know in our relationship.
Right.
Than I would.
And then there's another phrase from Star Wars that has conditioned me when someone says, when someone walks up to me and says, have you seen so-and-so? It happens all the time in life. It's like, have you seen, Tim, or have you seen, and I always look at them and I go, I haven't seen him. It's possible he came in through the south entrance. And then they always look at me and I'm like, you haven't seen Empire Strikes Back?
It sounds really dirty, is all I'm saying.
You're so pure.
Tim gets me. He knows what I was
do.
saying.
Oh, I
I
get you.
do.
I get you.
Bradshaw Studio, thank you very much. Bradshaw Studio says congratulations.
Hey, thanks, Bradshaw. Appreciate that.
Jeff David Lowe gave us a super chat with no text.
No, now he did have a text.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
and then I quote, congratulations. Balloon, champagne, horn with streamers, and
Thank you.
what looks like a coconut opening up with
If you
streamers.
see an eggplant, don't say anything.
I'm just going to say
That's all I'm
eggplant.
gonna
Everybody
say.
else will get it. But I'll just say eggplant. Master Son 42 says, Melinda, you sure you want your last name to be French? I like Michael Mock personally. Can I call you Mashinda now? Congrats. I think there may be something going on.
Could be Michael French Mock or Michael Mock French.
Master Son, do you smell
No
toast?
one's changing their names.
So arcade games are cool, and I like them, and they're very fun, and I want to talk about them more.
On topic, a world
yes.
made of cardboard says, congratulations, you two. Here's a wedding gift.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. So
He's going to feel really awkward now.
Okay, I'll get us back on track. Oscar Pineda Madrid says, do you guys remember Crystal Castles from Atari, one of the
Yes.
first games with warp zones, a true ending, and arguably the most gorgeous arcade cabinet ever designed? Bentley Bear should have been iconic.
yeah, Crystal Castles. You were the bear that collected crystals on the ground in 3D sort of isometric environments.
Trying to remember. I
That was a
don't
great,
remember
and
that
you
one.
used
that would have been a
a
vector game,
trackball.
or-
It's a great game.
Was
And-
that a vector game
That's
or a
cool.
raster
No,
game?
it was a raster game with isometric.
Doesn't mean you know what it's like.
And every level it would
Well, I
build
mean-
it for you before
Yeah.
you started, and then you'd have to. That was a great game. That was a great call out.
Well, speaking of the game with the ball, I mean,
Centipede.
Star Trek. Love that game. I
I
love
thought
that
Star
game.
Trek was a knob and a thing.
Well, it was a knob and the little.
No wonder I could never play it.
It was a hard
you
game
were
to
only
play.
using one of
It
the
was a
control
very
points.
Star Trek was like, we've designed this to be used by jellyfish. Enjoy, human.
Did you have the one that had the chair designed after the motion picture seat?
No, I wish I never even got to see one of those. The one I had was actually, or I got to play was actually a stand-up.
We had the
cabinet.
sit-down one at the
So-
mall in Nashville for a brief time,
See, I would have loved that.
and it was, kind of over your head, and you
They
sit
had the
there.
controls built into the
Yeah,
armrests.
and I'd put a
Really?
yeah.
Now that would have been cool.
yeah, but you put a quarter in and you're sitting there going, I've got 4 screens. What the heck do I do? Oh, I'm dead.
That's when you put another quarter in.
So Beta Ray Bob says he's bummed that he doesn't see any Tron representation on the table, but I think that you have the Tron disc, but it's probably at the very back and bottom of the storage closet, and that's why it's not on the table.
I can fix that for you, Beta Ray Bob. Just give me 1 second.
He's going to go diving
So
into
Tron-
his vault like
So
Scrooge McDuck.
do we have to back? Well, no, I don't think we do, because the original Tron movie, while it was wonderful, there was not a lot of depth. It was more ooh ah,
Good call.
So
The light bike racing looked more fun in the movie than it ended up
It could probably
feeling.
lean against the glasses, right?
when you've actually played it, yes, I agree.
Although we all played that worm game that came on every computer, or at least you could program in with BASIC. Remember getting the magazine and putting the code in,
Yes,
and where you just had to not run into your own.
I did that for
Tail,
you,
and it got
Beta Ray
longer and
Bob.
longer.
I did that for you.
Zathras wants to know what arcades were like in England, Michael.
Ooh, good question.
the arcades that I was in England were integrated into like you were talking about with roller rinks. So I'm sure there were arcades there, but this was 90 to 93.
It was just a rope with sticks.
There's a really cool place like that in
kidding.
England called Dreamland.
Yeah, but
cool.
there were extensive
cool.
And
there
it's
were
a skating rink? Did you please tell me you went to the Dreamland skating
Didn't.
rink?
We were
just-
near it, but
just
it's
to
on
bring
the
it
very
back.
far
there
East
were
Coast.
extensive arcade machines at roller skating rinks and bowling alleys in England, and that was where I got to play the 1991 Data East Star Wars pinball machine for the first time. That was really cool. And back then, that was also at the height of the Street Fighter 2 phase. So it was like Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition, Street Fighter 2
Turbo!
Street Fighter 2 Hairspray Edition, Street Fighter 2.
So it was like Skyrim is now.
Yeah,
is what you're
yeah,
telling me.
and so there was a lot of that going on. But the beat 'em ups were just starting to. They had hit their zenith, and then the fighting games were coming in. Excuse me.
Saturday Morning Fan just yells out King of Kong, which
Yeah.
I know we did a great podcast about, if I do say so myself.
And
It
you
was
do.
great in the sense that it was really fun for me.
It was
to
a
do.
lot of fun to put that one together, and I had seen King of Kong before. Watching it again was a treat,
Yeah.
especially now because I mean the first time we saw it was when it first came out, and so much has happened, like so much back and forth between the two guys in that.
Yeah, I was watching Rift Tracks do Samurai Cop the other day, and they literally said something about King of Kong, I guess referencing that the lead character looks a lot like Billy Mitchell. And I was like, oh my God, that was like, it was under the radar, but I totally got the joke, because, I mean, boy, that guy.
But that was the
Did he
whole
have
thing.
hot sauce and like little holsters?
That was the whole thing about that first. It's technically, according to some people, the second generation of arcade games. The first being Pong and a few of those other things.
Yes.
But the second generation was all about competing for that high score, not just in your local arcade, but sometimes state and even nationwide. You know, that's how Billy Mitchell became famous as a teenager, was because he fought his way up through Pac-Man and Donkey Kong, you know, his whole youth career.
Career.
Yeah. I don't know what else you'd call it.
No, that's great.
Thank you.
Old Bully says, congratulations, that's great. I had a feeling about you two.
Marty McFly.
Yes.
Back to the future.
I didn't say that part because I could tell Michael already
No,
knew.
I
what it
wanted to
was.
make sure Michael, wouldn't feel self-conscious if he didn't get that one right off the bat.
Come on, Doc.
Jason the 13th says, any memories of the Saturday morning cartoon Saturday Supercade?
Yes.
Yes, the lost cartoon that we can't possibly get all the episodes to anymore. Like, you go
Isn't
on
that
YouTube.
Donkey Kong and
Donkey
Kid
Kong,
Icarus.
Frogger,
Yeah.
Kid Icarus.
Kid
Well, Kid
Icarus.
Icarus was in. Was he on the Super?
Was he Captain N?
He
That
might
was
have been Captain
Yeah,
N.
he was-
This was Frogger.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man was actually its own show.
But I thought later on it became part of.
Oh well, if it did, it's the only show that's ever officially been released on its own. Probably because it had 2 seasons.
That's possible.
But
I don't think it was part of it. Saturday
Pac-Man-
Supercade was Q*bert, Donkey Kong, Frogger, and what was the other one? It seems like there was a fourth one.
I don't know.
I'm looking it up. Hang on.
Pac-Man was the Mario of his day.
Love
he
that
was
I love that
Donkey
cartoon.
Kong Jr., Pitfall, Space Ace, and Kangaroo.
Pitfall.
So so Pac-Man, it got the lunch boxes, it got the cartoon show, it had all the paraphernalia. You could get a Pac-Man sleeping bag for a slumber party. Pac-Man really broke out. Then you had the lesser ones like Donkey Kong and Dragon's Lair, in the sense that the games were great, but they didn't generate as much merch. Like, there wasn't as much.
Well, when you want to talk about a hard game to play, Dragon's Lair and Space Ace was like.
Well, yeah, they were laser discs.
Yeah, but they were. I mean, I tried. I could never.
I couldn't either. I played Dragon's Lair once, and they were expensive. Those were 50-cent games.
Yes, they were.
And then I remember in the early 90s playing Dragon's Lair 2 at an airport in England. And you want to talk about, like, oh God, I got to make sure that 50p doesn't go to waste, and I only got like 3 screens in, and then it was like, oh, this game looks so cool, but it's so hard.
Yes.
Vinkman, thank you. With the next installment here. The blob monster moved towards Aaron Man, ate him, then immediately spat him out.
Whoa. Okay, good.
Good thing I didn't taste very good, I guess. Okay, go ahead
What's
with your
this one? Sorry, did we read that?
We did.
Hold on, go back to it if you
I
don't
don't-
mind.
Sure.
I think
Oh, a world made of cardboard. I just wanted to thank you again for your super chat. It was very kind of you. I didn't see the amount originally because I was looking over real fast, but thank you so much. That's very kind.
Scott Nitson says, who else thinks Spy Hunter was ultimately improved when they couldn't afford the James Bond music? Man, do I love that Peter Gunn bass line. Yes, I do play a lot of
Oh man.
And it's funny how all of us know it. Every one of us.
I preferred the sit-down version of that, but I would play the stand-up one occasionally.
Oh, and what about remember the hugely popular one, Zaxxon?
Zaxxon. Okay, I always get this confused. Was Zaxxon the one where the big metal plates were flying at you? Or was that
Zaxxon was that weird one that was...
Oh, that was isometric.
Aaron.
It was like three-quarters.
But it
Did you
was
see
at a
the
weird
one
angle,
from
so the
Bigman that
joystick
was
would
$20
respond
that
weird
was-
when you were playing it.
I think you skipped one.
It did do a
There was the
jump on me.
isometric one you're talking about. There was Zaxxon, and then there was
Well, I know there was more than one.
Right.
So I'm going to read this again because I don't remember
This is
it
the
being
same one
read.
you asked me if I got. It's the one that starts, "You sure you're okay?" said Aaron Man.
Okay.
Is that the one?
Yeah, it came after the thing I just said, so that's why I was
Okay.
confused.
So we haven't read that one yet, have we?
We probably have it.
Well, go
Would
ahead.
you like to?
No, I just wanted to make sure you read it because it was a $20.
You sure you're okay? Said Aaron Man. Yes, I can handle blub blub blub. The mad scientist was swallowed by the blob monster. Hey, you overgrown booger. Don't you know it's rude to eat someone when they're talking?
No, we did not read that one.
No,
That
we
was
did not read
unique.
that one.
Okay.
That is unique.
So can I get a few props over here? Like
Yeah,
for-
props.
Yes, lots of
What's
props.
what's the yellow one we just went
There's-
past?
The yellow one we've read. That
Oh,
was
it's so confusing.
I
the
know.
one right
It's very
below
hard
that
with two people in here.
is. Are you talking about the Wicked Person one? The next one down is Wicked Person saying, trying arcade games
go
through
around the top.
the 80s and 90s was
Yes,
a
I'm
way of
just
gauging
clicking
how
them
far
down
the
with
latest
it.
graphic
Yeah.
and sound technology had progressed by that point. Dragon's Lair, Area 51, Street Fighter, the movie game.
Yeah, when they were starting to actually do motion capture, primitive like film digitization of real people.
Yeah.
It like Kylie Minogue actually did Cammy. It wasn't mocap back then, but it was filming on a profile, so they could use her imagery for Cammy for the Street Fighter movie arcade game, which was similar to the Mortal Kombat process. But I never found a game back then that used that process where the hit detection was any good. Like it always felt
The
like
bounding box was always off, like
Yeah.
transparent, and it would.
like when they swept the leg in Mortal Kombat, you always felt like you were just sweeping air, and it was like,
Yeah.
Whereas a few pixel-based games prior to that, raster-based games like X-Men, when you play those and you're playing Nightcrawler and you punch somebody, it really feels like you're connecting with that enemy. They really mastered it, and then suddenly they went off. Now Street Fighter 2, really good at the same thing. You could really feel the punches, but like Mortal Kombat and stuff, that's why I never liked those, because I felt like it was just some nerd pinwheeling his arms in the air, and like you couldn't
Like
feel
Laura
anything.
Ingalls at the end of Little House?
Yes, like Laura
Very
Ingalls at
much
the end
like
of Little
Laura
House.
David
Wilder.
Tracy says, for M and L, do you have a similar disdain for modern gaming, like Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, PC, as you do for modern action figures?
It depends on the game. I don't know about you guys, but it depends on the game. So like, I loved Ghost of Tsushima. I thought that was a great game.
I feel like it depends on the game, too.
Yeah, I'm loving Skyrim. I loved the modern Tomb Raider games. I thought they were great. So, and I know you guys play a lot of modern games, so you don't have that issue.
Yeah, most of the time I get really irritated when they it's almost like they put the story too far forward sometimes, and there's just not enough game.
Right.
I don't know. It's almost like I really liked the Mass Effect 1. Mass Effect 2 was okay, but as they progressed and got more Hollywood studio with it, I felt like it lost all of the little minutia
Right.
that made it fun. But
Right.
Fallout 4 is where I live these days. World of Warcraft Classic is a big one at my
Right.
house right now. Minecraft never went away.
Right.
So it really does just depend. If the game's good, then I'll like it. Kind of
Yeah.
like you. If the toy is good, then you'll like it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I think for me the problem is a lot of the games. I feel like you're just going through the motions with a lot of the games.
Yeah, they give
so
you a
you can
tutorial.
Get the
Yeah.
next story.
Yeah,
bit.
and but to your point,
So you need to play Myst? Is that what you're saying?
well, I play
You
Eve.
want it?
I do
You
play
want it to be
Eve.
like really obtuse and
which is considered
I
a
like Myst.
spreadsheet in space.
doesn't surprise me.
I like it a lot.
But I do like Eve. I do every now and then install Warcraft and
But you play
for a few
retail.
days. Yeah, I do play a few days and then I'll
Ew.
stop.
But see, that's the
And
thing
then-
about arcade games is
Don't
that
get snotty with me.
I
Is that-
smiled and said, "Ooh."
through the
Ooh.
through the lens of modern game reviewing online, like all the websites that review modern console games and things like that, they will occasionally do retro reviews of like games like this. Excuse me, RC, and I consistently see them talking about how these games are just really repetitive, you know, and I'm like, okay, look, jerkwad.
They're just doing it to make
The
you
fact
mad.
of the matter is, these games were designed in a completely different environment. I don't even talk about the technology. I mean, the people that were designing these games knew you're going in there with a finite amount of quarters and a finite amount of time. You're not at home. All right? So these games have to be a war of attrition. How far can I get on these 3 quarters with the limited amount of moves I have with this character in this space? And that was
Before
where
my mom's done shopping.
before my mom is done shopping.
Yes.
So that was the tension and the excitement of playing those games. Will I get a little farther the next time I have an opportunity?
Yes. Can we talk about?
No.
And I was one of these kids that got the 2600 for Christmas, and I was like,
Me too.
"We're getting Pac-Man at home."
Yeah.
And then you
I
started
was so
up, and
excited
it's
because
the,
I thought I'll finally be able to learn how to play these
and then
things.
you turn it on, and it's like dang, 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 and you're like,
This is not.
"What the hell is
Yeah,
this?"
Back
yeah.
Oh
then,
yeah, see that
It
was
was
my
like-
that was good for me because I'd never played the arcade, so I didn't
Yeah.
have a
Like,
You
frame.
could
of
be
This
like
is not
Kelso
Pac-Man.
and speed it up or slow it down by taking apart the 2600. Did we read the World Made of Cardboard one? Okay, so he says, best lost game story. Mine was Tron. Almost made high score. Got excited. Accidentally shook the game and it turned off and restarted.
Oh no.
And that was an
That's
expensive
upsetting.
letdown.
That is upsetting.
Brian Dillingham, I do remember the arcade game with the weird holographic time traveling cowboy. I cannot remember the name of it, but they've done videos about it on YouTube. Very weird game. Never played it. Too bizarre.
So, do any of you have a lost game story?
I'm trying to think.
When he says lost, he means a game where like you failed, I guess, to
Like
to
at the
beat it.
last second.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
tilts,
or
like he
or
tilts
a,
it that
a
way. it
game
sounds
where the
like.
machine screwed up and it screwed up your whole thing. Like what happened to him? That's
No, not in the arcade. One time I was watching my brother play Star Wars Masters of Terrakazi, and he got so mad at the game that he shook the controller and hit all the right button combinations to open the menu and quit the game. And he was like 10 guys in, and so he threw a tantrum, and so I had to like grab the controller when he stormed out of the room and fight back to that character, and
You
then
got him back and
Yeah.
then handed it over to
The
him.
one-
you are really good for that, Michael.
do
The
like
Like
that.
you
one
do it for me
funny
too.
moment I guess I had, and it was sad to say it was in the 70s, pinball, playing
Uh-huh.
pinball as a kid. And certain pinball machines got really awesome where they were like 2-story pinball. Like you would look down and there would be 1 story on top and
Right.
it's clear. And then there was another board down at the bottom and you had 4 buttons. And
They were like these Rube Goldberg machines.
Yes,
I always
they were
wanted
awesome.
to just be around.
But this one time, I was just doing so good, and I actually ended up getting a little crowd near me, and they were like, "He's got like 6 balls going at this," and I did. Like I was like going crazy on this thing.
they made you pay attention.
And one of the guys hit the machine, and you know, pinball machines have
Right.
the tilt thing, and
Yeah.
it just goes tilt, tilt. It just shuts down, and all the balls go. And I just remember, I was like. My dad said it was the only time he saw a 6-year-old try to beat a 13-year-old's ass.
Well,
So,
yeah.
you know, it's like,
well, yeah.
I mean,
it's
what
like,
else do you
moron?
do?
You
right,
moron.
so.
Hope he gave you your quarterback.
You know, I don't even remember. I just remember my dad dragging me out of there because I was furious.
Just
Well, yeah.
windmilling
I
all the way
was
out.
furious.
Wildstar Studio, thank you. In Texas, we have an arcade chain called Free Play that charges a flat fee instead of quarter tokens. Anything like that in your locales? Probably
Yes.
around Atlanta.
Yes, we do. There's a place that's up here near us, probably 15 minutes from us that I've never been. I don't know if you guys ever ended up going there.
No, I know it's there. We talked about it.
We've talked about going there a million times, but then we just never have gone
And
because
also
we're usually
COVID.
busy working and stuff. But
Let's-
yeah, there's
Let's go to
you-
a place where we have to touch all the same
well,
things.
now
as
it's
everyone.
hard, but I'm just saying, like even before COVID, it was a thing. But you could go there and play a flat rate and play any game. It's pretty cool.
Michael Johnson, I have watched Ice Cold and Alex. Yes, I've watched it. Very, very good movie. Very, very good movie. So I watched it last Sunday, I think.
Do you see Arthur's question?
Do I see
Arthur
Arthur's
says,
question?
here in Bend, Oregon, there is an arcade bar called Vector Volcano, I guess, and it is awesome. Need more like this.
Oh, interesting.
Now here, funny thing, in Alabama, of all places, in Anniston, Alabama, which is a little city between Atlanta and Birmingham on I-20, they have this little one-story mall that's beyond rundown, but there is a pristine, and I mean pristine, timeout
Oh, wow.
in that mall with still cabinets that look great.
Right.
They've been converted to have LCD
I wanna go
instead
there.
of CRT. I've got pictures of it. It's awesome. I was shocked. But
I think
to
you
your
deserve
point,
to go
yeah.
there after your experience. Like, you need to walk in now.
I feel like, yeah,
like-
because
I have arrived.
Well, that's the thing. You know, Wolfie just talked about all we've got here is Dave and Buster's, and the fact of the matter is, Dave and Buster's is sort of the result of a late stage development in arcade games that we talked about a few days ago, where it went from fighting games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and moved into every game has to have a really big screen and 2 to 4 plastic guns, and then you just shoot. And it's like Time Crisis or House of the Dead and it just
Not to make anyone mad, but do you guys even
Jurassic
consider
Park.
Golden Tee a video game?
Oh,
Remember that golf game that's in every pub?
it's still there. It's
yeah,
still there.
and there's still that guy who's like thinks he's totally gonna, be successful with the others because he can like the
Because
ball
they're all
and
networked
stuff.
together too. Like you play.
Yeah,
it's a
and it's got
networked
the
game.
big billboard up at the top of it.
Oh.
But remember, there was always that guy who was like holding a pitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just always remember like some of those games got so elaborate with their scenarios. Like it wasn't enough to have the guns. Remember the Star Trek Voyager one where suddenly it was you had to go into a booth with a big screen and you had phaser rifles.
Yes.
And it was you versus like
Yeah.
the Borg or whatever. And then there was the one that was
Like trying to redo Pac-Man.
right.
There's a new version of Pac-Man out.
What
That's really
with
weird.
2 plastic guns?
No, it's got like 4
You shoot the ghosts.
But it does. It has like 4 screens wraparound, and like the power pills now make Pac-Man like this big, and he can bust through walls. Like it's.
They've made a
I've tried-
breakthrough in Pac-Man.
I've tried to play it, and it's not that. Fun.
Brian Dillingham, thank you so much. What game did you wish had a movie?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm still waiting on a truly awesome Tomb Raider movie. I'm still waiting.
I'm still
on that.
waiting on a good X-Men movie.
But as an arcade machine, let's see, arcade machine, what would I like to see? Well, they
That's
are trying to develop a Dragon's Lair movie with Ryan Reynolds, which would be really fun. I think that'd be
I
fun.
think
Maximum
it'd be
effort.
fun too.
Yeah, maximum effort. Yeah, Dirk the Daring, maximum effort.
I don't. That's a good question.
Did you actually fill out elaborate backstories for some of these games, like Spy Hunter or something,
Well,
where you're
let's
like,
just
what's
say,
he really
have
on
there
the
been
road
any
for?
good movie adaptations of video games?
We
So, I
we
mean,
kind of talked
yeah.
about that earlier. They're
it's
really.
like literally any of them
I
that you
know
like.
what game I want to see in a movie. I want the arcade version of Ninja Gaiden to be a movie.
Oh, that is a good one. That's a good one.
Is it Gaiden or Gaiden?
Caden.
You're asking the
Gaiden.
wrong
Okay, Ninja Gaiden.
people.
Sorry.
I want
I want that
I want
to
a
be a
good
movie.
Pac-Man movie.
Not that I'm an expert on the pronunciation of
I
that. So.
I want it set in the 80s, and I want that's what I want.
They made it. It's
That's
called
I don't know if I have an answer for that.
Miami Connection.
Dan, I want a movie made after Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh, boy.
Wicked
I'm
Person
kidding,
says,
I'm kidding.
awkward playing the X-Men arcade game in Canada. Big plus, fantastic game. Big minus, based on a cartoon with an Australian Wolverine. Sacrilege. I agree
Good
with you on
point.
that.
Well,
like,
Good point.
wrong
fortunately,
territory. wrong.
fortunately, in the game, he never
Touchy,
never
touchy.
speaks.
This
So
is
the
true.
arcade game, he's still the proper Canadian Wolverine.
We can still pretend he's like, hey.
The X-Men game was the X-Men game for me was the last great arcade game experience. And then after that, the arcade games, I started to become very much interested in consoles because I did not like the fighting game revolution. Because see, remember, when you were in the arcades at that point playing Double Dragon or X-Men or Ninja Turtles and somebody else came up and put a quarter in the game, they were coming in to play another character to fight along with you.
Right.
The moment it
Right.
was Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat, you could be doing well at the game, and then some jerk comes up, puts in a quarter, beats your butt to the ground, you lose your quarter, and then he keeps playing. And it became a different dynamic. It was like everybody in the arcade is now my enemy. Not just the creepy guy smoking too much cigarettes that keep staring at me, but now even all the other kids are enemies.
Hey, can we talk about the jerks that ran the arcade?
Oh, God.
Were they not the biggest? Just
I know.
They were very,
putzes on
you
the
know,
planet?
To
like-
me, they were about in line with like comic book store guys
Yeah,
who
yeah, I
were
think you're
also
right.
jerks to me. Like every time I tried to
Hey,
walk
the
into a
game
comic
made
book
my
store.
quarter.
Tough
So,
luck, kid.
tough
That's
luck,
life.
kid.
Yeah.
Until you're like,
Venkman.
Dad, then they're like, shut up, go
Much
away.
like the question we just talked about, and forgive me if you guys already answered this, but Retro Wrestling Game says, what is the best toy line that got an arcade game or vice versa?
Another good coat.
While you're thinking, Venkman says, Aaron Man knew he needed to stop the blob monster before it grew out of control. He looked around the room and saw a giant pallet of Tim Tams. Hey, Mr. Blobby, eat this.
And then Michael was very mad at Aaron for getting rid of his Tim Tams to fight the blob monster.
Good use of Tim Tams. By the way, guys, I think Venkman's back. Good to have you back. man.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
It is nice to have you back.
Um,
Let's see. An arcade game that
became a toy
Or vice versa.
or vice versa.
Basically, toy lines and arcade games,
Well,
like combo.
I'm always going to say that I loved the way Pole Position was adapted into an animated series. I loved the Pole Position animated series. I know I'm in the minority on that, but I really
Oh,
liked it.
I love that cartoon.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you out for not having Ninja Turtles on the table because I would say Ninja Turtles would have been probably super popular anyway.
The Ninja Turtles on the table.
That was more, I think, console though, right? Than
Well, the big arcade
They
game
had
with
a-
4 players.
yeah,
They had a
no, that
4-player
one was
arcade
pretty
game.
good. I would say probably the X-Men game. That's the one I could say toy to game was good, and then, but I don't know anything that went from game to toy that just stands out in my head.
Well, eventually, we had Mega Man action figures in the aughts.
We did.
We got those, but it took a while. We had Super Mario paraphernalia, but we didn't have like
There weren't
an
like action figures
line.
of
Yeah.
them.
I mean,
Wicked
there
Person,
was
real quick, asks Time Pilot the movie or Zaxxon?
Zaxxon.
Zaxxon. Zaxxon for sure.
Yeah. On console and stand cabinet.
Thank you, Anthony Grow. How about live action Dig Dug? Isn't that just a secret Inhumanoids game anyway? LOL. Love you guys.
I loved that game, and
Uh-huh.
yes, you're right. Just like I loved Joust.
I
thought
yep.
Joust was a great game.
Dig Dug was great. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite classics. I always pretended when I played Dig Dug in the arcade that I was playing Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Yeah, because it looked like the Proton Stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Uh-huh.
Max Wild is apparently an autopilot and doesn't speak. Thank you very much, Max Wild, for your contribution.
Master Painter says, what are your thoughts on those multiplayer arcade games like Golden Axe or those Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat inspired games? Isn't Golden Axe the one that I love with the horsey kick?
That's Golden Axe 2, Revenge of Death Adder, but still
That's-
part of the same
That
series.
is my favorite game right
And
there.
Golden
I love
Axe
that too. I love that.
Yeah, and Golden Axe Part 1 digitizes samples of scream effects from movies. So when you kill a guy, it's actually David Caruso from First Blood.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah.
A Caruso scream.
But Golden
Mas-
Axe were great.
Master Sun 42, thank you. He said he would like to see a live action Road Blasters game. Do you remember that trend where they were doing claymation and then filming it and using that to make the games? I think Quest for Glory had one of the Sierra
Was
Online
Earthworm
games.
Jim kind of like that too? Like it was a little claymation in that one. I
Yeah, it was
think.
almost like they made the models out of clay and then
Right.
filmed that
Uh-huh.
to do the sprites. So the sprites
Right.
were actually just like blue screened.
Kind of the way they
Clay.
would do it with the live action for Mortal Kombat. They'd film somebody on a total profile and have them do different poses. Yeah.
Saturday Morning Fan said, arcade games were movie theaters for games in the 80s. In Japan, they never left and are still around.
Well, yeah, Japan though, their pop culture scene is it's much more kinetic
Prominent.
and dynamic, yeah.
Yeah,
than ours.
I see some of those like Dance Dance Revolution games, but it's like this amazing like nuclear
There's like fog
generator,
machines.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah.
control booth,
Lasers.
and everybody's just like, no way.
Michael Schaefer says, who here banged their shins on cabinet step stools for the short kids?
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yep. But I had to use that carpet covered step stool when I first started playing
You?
games at Showbiz.
You're like
I was
the
5 years
tallest person I know.
I was 5 years old. I'd have given anything if the cabinet was this small back then. I'd have been fine, but it wasn't. I needed that step stool. And then even then I was like, yeah, I'm Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but how 80s is it? when you talk about that Showbiz Pizza, that you've got a place you go that your parents can sit there and drink beer all night while you ran free with other kids to carpet-lined hallways, and it was dark everywhere you went, and have video games around every corner, ball pits.
Yeah.
And you could
weird
buy
things.
candy that was so big you'd have to set it down
Yes.
on a counter.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, and just to play a video game. Arthur
but-
Holguin, thank you. He said he figured out an exploit with Guile on SF2 to brick the cabinet and get back at the guy running the arcade. So when he wouldn't give them the
Really?
coin, he could basically just brick one of the arcade games.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Revenge.
Impossible Pie wants to know, Michael, if you liked Dragon's Lair.
I liked Dragon's Lair, the game, yeah, in the arcade. I was very disappointed with the Nintendo
Oh
port.
my god, it was horrible.
Horrible. And then the Super Nintendo one wasn't much better.
No, it wasn't.
And then the animated show on Saturday morning wasn't very good.
No.
The only good thing about Dragon's Lair was the original game and then the follow-up arcade game. Those were good.
Although the Space Ace cartoon was kind of funny, like the guy who played Space Ace.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't related to
funny.
Dragon's Lair. It was just the same
yeah,
studio.
I just
Yeah.
Sigurd wants to know, Michael, if you ever visited seaside arcades during your time in the UK.
I went to Brighton once, but I didn't get to go into an arcade there, so I never got to.
I'm guessing the Seaside arcades were totally or a slightly different scene, just with
Yeah.
like open.
Yeah, that's like that Dreamland place is a seaside arcade.
Is it?
Yeah, it's on the East Coast. Like, it's really
I
cool.
you
think
guys should've
most
gone.
country. I think the U.S. lost its way with arcades, but I feel like even in Europe and especially in Japan and China, they've kind of kept that arcade feel and experience.
They've tried with Dave and Buster's,
and
but
we
it's just too
ruined
jockey
it.
for my taste.
Yeah, it's way too jockey, and it just I
Ours
feel
is-
like we ruined
Yeah,
ourselves.
we do that here.
Yeah, I get
Oppo
it.
Well-
says, RetroBlasting crew, what is your favorite Zelda game? It's a little different, but it's sort of in the ballpark. So.
The first one for the Super Nintendo was my
Yeah,
Link
I
to the
agree with
Past.
that.
Link to the Past. That one just
Yes.
sucked me right, and I've played all the ones before it.
I mean,
I've
I love
only-
Link to the
original.
Past was just very rich.
I've only played the one, so
Breath
So
of the Wild.
Melinda likes Breath of the Wild. I've played Zelda, Zelda 2, Link to the Past. I've played Ocarina of Time, and I've played Breath of the Wild.
Ocarina is where I stopped.
Yeah,
They got a little obsessed with the 3D polygonness
Yeah.
of that.
Well, you wanted the horse so bad, and then when you got it, you were like, okay, I'm kind of bored now.
Yeah, I did. I never played. I never played Majora's Mask.
I
I
didn't
never
either.
played Wind Waker. I never
I
played.
did get that one on emulation, but haven't
Uh-huh.
played very far.
Really?
into
But
it.
I hear everybody just go crazy over Majora's Mask all the time.
Yeah, people.
The
And
second
it's
N64 one?
kind of
Yes.
closer to Breath of the Wild in feel.
Yeah,
Like
there's
it's
a lot
almost
of
like they
fans.
figured out a lot of stuff they didn't get right with Ocarina
Uh-huh.
and got the graphics better. Everything.
Right.
It felt like a new generation of the same
Wow.
game
So
system.
I missed out.
Wicked Person
Oh,
has
well.
something kind of controversial to ask here, folks. She says, surprised that they've never made a Legend of Zelda live action. Could work, and I'm like,
no.
I do not want a live action
I
Zelda.
want my live
Look what
action.
look what they're doing to Lord of the Rings.
I
Do
know,
we
that's what I was
really
about to
want them
say.
touching that?
Yeah,
Like,
I want my
know.
live action Legend of Zelda to be like Game of Thrones.
Well, the problem is,
I want to see. I want to see Link's Master Sword, if you know what I mean.
Oh
I
my
want to see it.
you will.
oh, you will.
Just get the folks behind Game of Thrones on it.
Look, I
You'll get that
Next
and then a
week,
coffee
you
cup.
will see.
Hey, princess,
Part of the
I call
problem
this
with
my
this-
hook shot.
part of the problem with this is this new wave of Zelda fans. Like, my daughter is like a huge Zelda fan, but she's a fan of like everything after Majora's Mask, like all the new stuff. Like, to her, the original stuff doesn't exist, and I'm kind of like, you're not a real fan. You're not a real fan.
Well, that's what you know. What you know? What you know? What though? That
rough,
is
and that's
man.
bad.
That's
no,
rough.
no. Wait, I'm actually about to defend you on this because it doesn't matter when you're born because you can't control that. What matters is when you are a fan of something, right? You can like and dislike certain parts of that franchise over the years, but it's important to go experience
The
them,
whole
right? If you're
thing.
interested in it. So you go backwards if you miss stuff and you go forwards to other things. What
I'm about to do a public service announcement for you guys. Don't be a fan of anything. Like, frickin' level up. A fan is just short for fanatic, and nobody likes that. Nobody
is
likes
true.
a person
That's
with
a
no
good
sense
point.
of humor about something. So, like, have a sense of humor, but also appreciate the history of whatever. If you love it enough to say you love it, then learn about it. You don't have to like everything about it to still appreciate
You're
it.
getting amens from the chat over
Yeah.
here.
You guys are awesome, and I know you're capable of it. I believe in you.
Is Melinda making us all better?
I think she is today.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was saying was your daughter should play Zelda 1. Even if she doesn't like it, she should play it.
You're just
I
saying
know,
what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're learning about stuff, yeah.
Impossible Pie wants to know, did anyone ever beat an arcade game? I assume they mean here.
Oh my gosh, I don't
anyone
think
here.
I ever beat an arcade game.
I did.
I did too.
Don't look ashamed. It's
No,
fine.
I
Oh,
actually
you
beat-
did.
I beat the original Contra arcade
Nice.
ever before it even made it to Nintendo.
Beating arcade games taught me a valuable lesson about life, at least in the Western world. Anything can be solved with enough money.
True.
So I beat Ninja Turtles. I beat Simpsons. I beat.
I didn't know there was an ending to Simpsons, but
Well, there's an ending to all the beat 'em ups. I beat.
Because The Simpsons has clearly not ended.
Right. I beat Crime Fighters, Final Fight, Spider-Man, the beat 'em up Spider-Man where you could play him, Black Cat or Namor or whatever. I beat X-Men a lot. I loved X-Men. I beat Captain America and the Avengers.
you beat a lot of games.
Mm-hmm. This is why he
Michael
won't
was
spend
my
any money
opposite.
on mobile
Like,
games.
I've
This is
never-
why he
Were you
refused.
rich? Was that what it was?
He's
Yeah, I
just
was- I
really
was rich.
determined and
He
singularly
was a
focused.
hundredaire.
I mean,
No,
you've met
no.
him, right?
Yeah, this is true. No, you know what? You're absolutely right.
I'll tell you-
I shouldn't have
Let me
even
tell you
asked that
something, Tim.
question.
So we had this discussion while we were setting up the live stream, Tim and I, because I was setting up the X-Men figures, and he goes, "Yeah, I just never wanted to play Dazzler." And now I'm realizing that's why he never beat X-Men. I'm like, because I told him, I said, "You got to play Dazzler." Yeah, that's why I beat X-Men, because I played Dazzler.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I've played it on the emulator, and I freaking love it, which makes me sad that I never got a chance to play it like in a real.
Oh well.
Arcade.
And
Yeah.
well, look, not a cabinet game, but I did figure out Castlevania 2 where you have to crouch at the mountain.
You didn't use Nintendo Power.
I didn't have Nintendo Power, and it was totally by accident, but I am very proud to say I figured that part out on Nintendo.
Would you
There was a
say
trick
that when
to
it
that.
comes to Castlevania 2, you whipped it good?
Oh, where there's a whip,
And with fire.
there's a way.
Because it was a flame whip, remember?
Robert Hart.
Remember? Do you remember?
Do you remember it? Robert Hart says, while some arcade purists prefer the old CRT monitors, they are becoming very difficult and expensive to maintain. I don't
Yes.
mind the LCDs.
Yeah, I'm with
So,
you,
yeah.
Robert. I don't understand the obsession with the CRT screens. The parts are running out.
Because it has a lot to do with how. Okay, I was saving that one to address that. Because
Address it. Go for
Go
it.
for
It
it,
has a
man.
lot to do with the way the old boards produced interlaced
Uh-huh.
signal. So with a modern game, you can produce it in a progressive
Yeah.
scan, or you can add the filters to it. But if you
Mm-hmm.
are in a situation where you can only output an interlaced signal, it's going to look its best. And the purist is trying to go for that curve
Mm-hmm.
to the screen. So I guess it doesn't bother most of us here, but I think that would be something you have to consider.
Well, I
when
think
you're
that like
doing
when
that.
I'm playing Atari 2C, like I definitely want to see it on a CRT, like an old school TV, because when you
And
put
it'll
it on
look
a,
like garbage.
it
on
looks like
on
a
an
garbage thing. Like it already kind of looks like garbage. Let's be honest, but
But
it
there's a
really
weird-
there's a real weird like synergy between the type
Yes.
of like it works.
I think
And
And that's
it's
why
just
we
a
still
matter of
have the
time.
TV. Like
the artists who made those sprites were planning for it being on an interlaced screen, so they actually look more detailed or correct on the CRT interlaced screen than they would even on an LCD with interlacing. They're too sharp and too jagged. They actually planned ahead for some of the blur around the edges of the pixels. So there's a lot of cool groups out there. If you hit Reddit and look at the what is the Raspberry Pi version, the RetroPie system is a good place to get started if you're trying to build your own cabinet. But they are whole sub-threads on what to pick if you can't find a CRT. And there's a lot of people who love the square Dell monitors, if you remember 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
There's millions of them out
Well,
there.
I was
with
going
this
to
little-
ask, I mean, can you even get CRTs anymore?
You'd have to get them secondhand. I don't think anybody's making
I
them.
know,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Nobody's even making them, so...
Right.
So they're
That's
getting harder.
interesting.
They're just
Yeah,
going to
I
get
mean,
harder
it's-
and harder to find.
It's just a matter of time, right?
Go find an old defunct bar and offer to buy that table
TV
that's
in
got
the corner.
that's got the Chicago Bears game from 1987 permanently burned into the
into it.
screen.
Jason Anderson says the hardest part of beating arcade games was having a witness to confirm you beat it to your friends. Did you ever have a witness to your beating the games, Michael?
My brother was always working on the game with me most of the time, so we were beating the game together. So yeah, that was never an issue.
Well, that's nice.
A lot of people, like in King of Kong, set up those
was-
giant. Remember those over-the-shoulder VHS?
Yeah, that would
Yes.
that would very conveniently fuzz out right at the right moment.
Yeah.
If you're Billy Mitchell. Yeah, I'm calling you out, dude.
Or he would always have a tape somewhere of.
Well, did you hear that
That
his?
was weird. He's
Did you
been
hear he got his
stripped,
stuff
like,
reinstated?
Oh, when
Yeah.
did that
Yes,
happen?
he
I
did. It
did.
happened recently,
Yeah.
actually. There was all kinds of articles recently on it. Which
Whew,
I
that guy
think
will
is-
not quit.
He probably
He will
offered the
not
judge
quit.
a lifetime supply of hot sauce.
I don't know, but it's.
Master Son
crazy.
says beating a video game and finishing your toy collection is the same result. Now what am I going to do?
Yeah, in some
Very
ways,
true.
yeah, that's true.
I had that feeling recently because I was binge watching Korean crime dramas recently on
Really?
Netflix, and I finished
I am
my
so jealous
series.
that I don't have Netflix. Like I want to watch them too. Like
And I finished one, and I'm just like, no, I do. Venkman, thank you. The blob monster absorbed all the Tim Tams, then it started bubbling, changing from green to red, and exploded. Aaron Mann surveyed the damage and found the mad scientist still alive, covered in slime.
So it's a Nickelodeon show,
you can't do that on television.
right?
Ah, what's the
Brian
word?
Dillingham says, "What was your favorite rock star or personality inspired video game like Moonwalker or the Aerosmith game?"
I never.
Aerosmith for the PG-13 nudity, and Moonwalker for the beat 'em up co-op isometric design of it. I also Moonwalker is a good memory for me because my brother and I beat that arcade game on a ferry boat from Portsmouth to Cannes, France.
That's actually pretty damn impressive.
Overnight, like we were on the English Channel
What?
beating Moonwalker.
How do you even put that sentence together? What
I-
kind
look.
of charmed life was
Look,
that?
I'm just saying, like that's what happened.
On my way to Cannes.
Where the rest of us were in Alabama.
It's pronounced
Yeah.
Cannes, by the way, not Cannes. Just in case
that's
you're
no,
wondering.
that's a different place.
a different Cannes.
There's CAEN France, and then there's CANNES France.
I don't know that because I never beat a game on
You
a,
don't know that?
on a
Sacre
English
bleu.
channel. Now it would have been cooler if you
Are
had
there-
been playing 1943. What is the 42?
Oh, the lightning, the P-38
I wanted
lightning.
to
Yes.
bring that one up because that was another favorite
Uh-huh.
of mine.
I did enjoy that game.
But were
too.
there other games that had like rock stars or people like that in them that? There was a
don't
Kiss
know. I never
game.
got into
There was a
those.
Kiss game or a pinball or something that I thought I always
Well,
see.
and that's what you saw
There were a
more
lot
of
of Rock Band pinball games.
Yes, there was
Well,
a
it
lot
says
of
favorite
those.
rock star inspired video game. So I'm just saying.
I'm
Pinball
the only two I remember were Aerosmith, Revolution X, and Moonwalker. Those are the only two I
I
remember.
I just
remember
remember.
Moonwalker.
I remember seeing a Kiss game every time and just thinking, man, that is just the pinnacle of arcades.
I
Did they
don't
have
remember that.
superpowers like the tongue and everything else?
I have no. I never played it because
It was like a
again, I didn't
frog.
play games. I just saw it.
World Made of Cardboard, thank you very much. Not an arcade, but my wife and I would play Doom together. But she would
Oh.
use cheat codes and run around with the cabin saw, chainsaw, I guess, and kind of scared me.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Wicked Person says there's a very cool documentary quite like King of Kong, but about Nibbler instead of Donkey Kong.
Yes.
Billy Mitchell has a large role.
Really?
Oh, he's got a lot of records, or had a lot of records, or still has them again. I don't know. I can't keep up with. He's like
I don't even understand.
Schrodinger's gamer.
Adam Burkett says, thank you again for allowing us to experience your incredible home museum. Best 90 minutes to come out on video this year.
Oh, well, you're very welcome. Thank you. That was a by popular demand video. People kept asking for an update, and I was like, you guys want me to walk through the room again? And then they're like, I don't think you realize, Michael, it's been like 3 years. I'm like, it has?
I
And,
forget too. It doesn't seem that long ago.
Yeah,
to me
and I
since-
thought, well, it's all the same
all of
stuff.
this
And then
started.
when I went through it again, I'm like, oh, it actually has changed a lot.
Yes, we've been getting everything ready and for the gloried event that's about to happen. And
Here we
brings
go.
it back. Brings
You
it
know,
right
we
on
go.
back.
No,
Michael's
there was
really
a-
mad and he doesn't want to talk about
There
it.
was a mishap yesterday that we'll mention in the after show that I did.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that in the after show.
Well, at least you didn't set anything on fire.
Dude. Anyways,
Wow, if you think that was a
At first it
spoiler.
was his yard, and now
we'll talk about it in the after show. Go sign up.
Tim's like, dude, you're spoiling the after show.
If I'm gonna be made a fool of, I'm getting paid.
Michael French, have you figured out how to sound like Johnny
You're
Rotten?
not a
Tim
fool.
Hayes wants to know.
Yes, we did watch some Johnny Rotten stuff. I'd like to brush up on that, and you'll be there for the
Do
after
you want to
show.
hear it again real quick?
No, not right now.
You can play some Johnny Rotten.
Tim Hayes is always in the after show, so Tim that'll be the first thing I do in the after show. So
Did you
just
know
stay
he was
tuned.
on Judge Judy?
No.
Yeah. A drummer.
Tim Hayes? No, I'm kidding.
Well, it might have been, no. The other guy, Johnny Rotten,
Yeah.
drummer was suing him, and it ended up in Judge Judy's court, and it's hilarious.
That's pretty punk.
Because it was a
rock,
long time ago too. It was like the '90s. So-
Journey had an arcade game. That's right, they did.
See, I don't remember any.
I remember seeing
Moonwalker.
that.
I remember
I never
Moonwalker.
saw Moonwalker.
I
That's way
saw
too
it.
late.
I never played it, even though I was a huge Michael Jackson fan.
Best Pac-Man game for me, Saturday morning fan, was the original. I know you liked
Miss Pac-Man,
Mrs.
yeah.
Pac-Man.
I didn't get any further than the original.
Yeah, I like the
Pac-Man game.
original. That's my favorite.
Skipped it on the
Holmes,
Atari.
Sean Holmes wants to know if you have any Marvel Gladiator toys.
I do not have any Marvel Gladiator toys at the moment. Is that the new line that just came out? I believe.
That's what I was trying to.
I think it is. I don't have any of those. No.
DeBlue Pen says, which Tron game was your favorite?
Probably still the Light Cycles.
Yeah,
cycle
I liked
game.
the Light Cycles version. I didn't like Discs of Tron as much.
It was amazing to watch. That
The original cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the original cabinet.
Zathra says, did you play Ninja Turtles in the arcade, and which turtle were you? I was Donatello.
I played Leonardo at first, and then I switched over to Michelangelo soon after that, and just played Michelangelo all the time. But I'll never forget playing it for the first time, and I was at
Donatello all the way.
yeah, because he had the reach.
Oh, yeah.
But it was at the mall arcade, and I remember walking up to the cabinet, and my brother and I were just like, "There's a Ninja Turtles game, and there's 4 players, and all these kids were around it." And suddenly there was an opening for Leonardo, and I put my quarter in. And Leonardo came in, and I was playing, trying to get the hang of the controls, whatever. And I remember there was this kid behind me who was a little older than me, and he was just excited to watch the game. And I got killed, but I had another quarter, and I put it in, and Leonardo reappeared because you were in a specific position for each character. And the kid behind me said, "Leonardo's back to attack." And I remember, I'll never forget
It's like
that.
perfect delivery.
Yeah, yeah. And so then I played, but I ended up playing Michelangelo most of the time on that game.
And it's interesting because by the late '80s, I was already driving a car, and by that time, my dad had cut me off. Like,
Right.
he was like, "You want to go to the arcade? Spend your own money."
Right.
So I worked for McDonald's for many years flipping burgers, and
Yeah.
that's not a lot of quarters back then.
No.
So I didn't get to go. That's why I missed a lot of these games
Right.
in that time period because I couldn't afford to go to the arcade anymore.
Well, that's why I loved, when I was in college and the MAME programming came out on the internet, you could emulate these arcade games.
Yes.
And what I loved about it wasn't an adaptation. It was the literal arcade game, and you're hitting number 3 to put in a quarter and play the real game. Somebody told me the other day, they were like, yeah, Xbox 360 and PlayStation ported over the X-Men arcade game. And I went, is there a button to put in a quarter? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, then it's not the same game.
Yeah, I don't
want
want it.
I don't want that. I want the thing where I have to go ding, and it goes bring, bring, Nightcrawler, and then I go
That
in.
was an amazing part of it when it would announce the.
Or
Yeah.
the Donkey
The bit.
Kong sound of when you put a quarter in.
Yeah.
Leo Convoy, thank you, man. Glad you joined us. He said, "Good afternoon. Centipede stole my quarters, and I'll never forgive it."
Oh.
That cabinet could suck quarters out of
Yes.
people's pockets from 30 feet away.
Yeah.
It was so
I've
fast.
seen it happen.
That's one of the
So
few
fast.
games I've actually played.
Like we'd walk into the front of a Mr. Gotti's or a Shoney's, and it would just you just hear the jingle jingle. And
Yeah.
like, oh, it's happening again.
And fun
Well-
fact, Centipede has a board game. They had a board
yes,
game for
yeah.
Centipede.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a board game for Centipede, and it's more fun than you would think.
And Pac-Man. They had a cool Pac-Man
Yes,
one,
with
too.
the marbles.
Yep.
Matt Ludi says, does Michael remember a show in the UK called Nightmare with a K that combined computer game with real contestants?
I kind of remember that. The one I remember more is Crystal Maze with Richard O'Brien. That's the one I really watched. I've heard the title, Matt, but I don't recall it specifically.
Well, and you remember, I can't remember what period in the 80s when they had the video game show
Mm-hmm.
where they had all the cabinets set up and the kids would come on and play for prizes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
We all wanted to be on that show so bad.
Well, I remember they did this Nintendo did this traveling thing where they would go to local malls in big cities and they would have these huge setups with each little TV, with a Nintendo, and it was a competition. It wasn't just a demo. It was a competition where it was like they were trying to find the highest Super Mario Brothers score. And Super Mario Brothers was probably, arguably next to Pong, the first arcade game that was ported over 1-to-1 to a console because the Nintendo company.
Yes, you were absolutely right.
Yeah, so everybody was trying to get the high score, and I remember being at Hickory Hollow Mall and it was all free to do, try it out and see if you could place.
Come on down to Hickory Hollow.
Yeah.
Although I did love both Zaxxon and the Smurfs on the ColecoVision.
I keep thinking you're going to say
Smurfs.
Zaxby's, and I'm looking forward to some chicken fingers.
The
every time.
Smurfs.
Well, do you remember Pac-Land based on the cartoon?
Yeah, I do remember
the side-scrolling.
Yes,
yeah.
I remember Pac-Land.
You had the little
I didn't really
Kojak
play
hat.
it.
They had it at our Pizza Hut.
Map Film Productions has a really astute observation. It says, two schools of thought. Games in the past were not about finishing. They were about do the best you can to get a score to be remembered.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about.
Yep.
Now
Yeah.
it's about reaching the end. Such a metaphor for life.
Wow.
Deep thoughts. You feeling all right there?
Is everything okay?
Salvador says, sorry I'm late. My mom never let me play the arcade games, said they were a waste of money. Conversely, she'd let me play those claw machine games with the stuffed animals.
I guess because you could potentially get a physical item
That's
back.
correct.
And I now argue, thinking about it.
That's gambling, though.
I think the early arcade games that were more skill-based and point-driven are actually a more accurate metaphor for life because it's same, different day.
Wolfie says Dave & Buster's is the Hasbro of arcades.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And isn't it
deep cut,
funny?
man.
Isn't it funny that they design an entire complex around sports for the jocks when we who were not jocks always gravitated to the arcade?
Mm-hmm.
But now the jocks get the arcade.
Well, they're
What the hell?
taking
I don't
over all of our stuff, right?
It
Like
doesn't
they've
make
basically
sense.
taken over Dragon Con. Let's be honest.
This
Right,
is true.
yeah.
I
That's
mean,
true.
they're sort of like
They took Metallica.
they took Metallica in the 90s. They did.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean,
They
they
did.
they kind of revealed that Metallica
Dear
were
God.
Hasbros.
Oh, my God.
Has been bros.
All right, Venkman sends in something to help you feel a little bit better over the loss of Tim Tams. He says, "What happened to my creation?" said the mad scientist. "It ate some of Tim Tams and got a tummy ache," responded Aaron Man. "You fed it my Tim Tams?
Why am I visualizing Patrick Stewart screaming that?
You fed it my Tim Tams?"
You fed it my Tim Tams.
Gloop Trekker says my prom date sued her husband on Judge Judy.
I saw that.
What?
That's amazing.
That was a
That
close
is
one there, buddy.
awesome. Because to me, Judge Judy's the only daytime TV worth watching anymore.
Wow.
Wolfie says I got my diploma out of a claw game.
Nice.
Tong Bro says favorite martial arts arcade.
Oh,
Ninja Gaiden.
Ninja Gaiden? Yeah, if you call that, I call it martial arts. A lot of people say, that's ninja crap. You like Kung Fu Master.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also played, I just lost it.
What was the one where...
Were you on the Tims at the time?
Remember there was one where all you had was your hand. Now that was part of Ninja Gaiden where you...
That's a private game. You don't want to describe that to people.
That's that game from Star
I'm done.
Trek.
I'm done.
No,
I'm
no.
out. I'm done.
No, what was it? Describe it. So
No,
what?
it's Ninja Gaiden, I think, where you have the stars in your hand and you're like...
Oh, no, that's, you're talking about Ninja Warriors.
Was that a
the
Is
side-
that what it was?
Where
Was
you're
that a
actually
minigame?
a robot?
I can't remember.
It's like you're the two side
I can
scrollers.
see it, and you're sitting there doing this, and
That's not Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden arcade is the one where it's almost like Double Dragon style.
no, I remember, but I
yeah.
thought there was a part where you did that.
Bonus
in Ninja
stage
Gaiden
in
or whatever.
Shinobi.
Bonus stage in Shinobi.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Shinobi.
That one always looked cool to me.
That was a fun game too.
Yeah.
Robert Hart says, "What arcade titles would top a Halloween-themed playlist?"
From an arcade.
Arcade themed
Bad
playlist.
Dudes.
Bad dudes.
Hey, audience!
that's not bad.
Just since we're talking Halloween, yell out the movie that Aaron and I should watch and do a Dreamland Halloween episode on? Just yell it out.
I-
What you think would be good?
Ghosts and Goblins is coming up for the Halloween
yeah,
theme.
Ghosts and Goblins, but that you talk about a
I thought
game
that was a console, but it was that a
It-
cabinet
I
game?
played it on the console. I didn't play it on
Yeah, I
it's
the
an
don't
arcade
remember. It
game
is
first,
arcade?
and
Okay,
it's just as
okay.
hard on both.
Yeah,
It's
that goes down in history as
yeah,
like the hardest
It's the
game
most brutal game ever.
ever.
Dragon's Lair would be a good Halloween game because there's a lot of
Yes.
dungeons and skeletons and stuff in it.
Whoa.
What?
Oh, look at that.
Holy!
A name that is just a number says, "This is my first live chat. I'm awake for Australia. This one is for recognition of Tim's marketing efforts.
Thank you.
Oh my god!
Now he's going to be insufferable. Thank you very much," I say with tears rolling down my face.
I just think it's really brave of this particular RetroBlasting supporter to name himself after his credit card number.
Yeah, it was very brave.
I just think that's very brave.
I didn't count the numbers.
Another reason I love Australia. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, and the currency agrees. It's an Australian.
Wow!
I'm telling
Thank
you.
you so much.
Australia rocks.
Sal
I
says
really
there
love
was
video games.
I'm telling you.
Sal says there was an arcade that showed up in my town's mall when I was a teen and was really popular until the owner showed up on a registered list. It's not popular anymore, even though it changed owners.
It's just like guilty by association. Nobody is sending their kids there
Like no, you
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tainted.
Yeah.
Credit
just
card
gonna let that
number
one
is
go.
named Johnny, by the way.
Oh, hey, Johnny.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah, you got a problem with
He
that?
totes did. Jason Anderson says, Billy Mitchell, sue everyone until they agree you're the best.
At this
is
point,
true. It's so true.
they
though.
just need to stop, create a new records list. Just make him the king of that one, and everybody just goes over
goes to
this
another
other
I
one.
love it how he's like a 55-year-old man now that still wants to hold on to that 80s power flow hairdo.
Hey, yeah, I mean,
It's like,
the
dude,
mullet.
the Kurt Russell dream of yours is over.
Greg Klein says, a movie version of the Star Wars game would be awesome. Oh, wait.
I almost said that it would be nice to get a good movie version of the Star Wars game earlier, but I felt like that wound still had sand in it, and I
Yeah.
was just.
That's
And
that
you
wound-
know
that-
what,
that's
you know
a
what they
wound
say
that
about
just-
sand, Aaron.
It never. That wound
It's
never closes.
Everywhere.
You know what? It does.
Matt Ludi says, does anyone remember the blind panic of trying to put more coins in when the continue countdown started?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's like something I would fail to do. Like I was just like, oh, I
You
don't-
drop it on the floor?
Oh no!
And the
Or you're
reason,
running to the change machine and the damn dollar
yes.
won't
What-
go
yes.
in. It's like
Oh,
you're
I don't
sitting there
want-
looking
it's
at
like-
the cabinet going, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
and someone could take your game at that
Oh,
point.
yes.
I don't want your dollar. No, take it. But the thing is,
Someone
the
can walk
reason,
up and just.
as a kid, my logic for not preloading the credits was because I didn't know when my mom was going to get done with whatever she was doing.
Well, and
so-
that didn't. Not a lot of them. You couldn't even do that.
Right.
Like
That
you
came
couldn't
later
Load multiple. Yeah,
that you could do
you
that.
couldn't load the multiple ones.
Right.
Gert Neeson, thank you very much. Arcade games had some great artwork. What is your favorite? Mine is Missile Command, especially the Atari version. Always gave me the Battlestar Galactica Buck Rogers feel. Love the channel.
Thank you so much. My favorite artwork on the side,
Defender.
Defender.
It had some really cool artwork.
I liked all the artwork for the Atari 2600 games and was always
Mm.
disappointed when I put the game cartridge in.
Everyone was with you there.
Centipede was real iconic in the arcades for me.
Yes.
I also loved some of, oddly enough, I don't know if I'm getting the Parker Brothers cartridge art mixed up with the arcade art, but Frogger stands out to me with its artwork with the frog, and I also really liked some of the side artwork for things like Star Trek Advanced Combat Simulator, things like that, things I recognize in
Yes.
that Refit Enterprise.
But you're right. I mean, it was always comic book ER. I mean,
Yeah.
it was some really cool stuff.
And
The
they
best-
did some creative stuff with how all this worked.
Yes.
Like my favorite games, even if I didn't play them, were the ones that had the more elaborate
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
setups to
Yeah,
draw
definitely.
you in.
Although my favorite artwork has to be from arcades has to be the pinball back glasses.
Oh yeah,
those
those were
had the
always
best.
cool.
Those are the best. If you
Leo
haven't seen-
Convoy, thank you very much. Don't forget the Discord. I have the link ready when you need it. Also, the TMNT
I forgot
arcade
to
game
do it again.
is
Ugh.
second only to Pac-Man in my
Hold
opinion.
on.
you forget?
I was supposed to put the Discord link, and I even told Tom that Leo Convoy that I put it in there right before the live stream. I'm like, yeah, cool, I'm gonna do it. And then sorry.
He got super distracted.
He did.
It's my fault. Again, I'll tell the story later.
No comments at this point. I thought my little weak hint was was a good tease. Tim, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to pour water
So tell
on
us-
the giant flames. That
Tell us
were
about how you liked
the
Myst.
place- About why I like.
Myst?
You played Myst too,
I
right?
did. For a very short time.
Did you play Riven?
No, but I did have it. Rebecca played that. My wife played that one. She
Yeah.
liked that one a lot. Myst was actually pretty fun. I
Yeah.
thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It
So
had a
you
really
didn't just
weird
start the
atmosphere.
game and you're standing there and you just
What the hell do I do?
what am I supposed to do? And then you just walked around and on a beach
Well,
and then you just
luckily
gave
I had
up?
people
That's
I
what
knew.
I
That sounds like Riven, actually, more than
It was Myst 2, I think. is
Yeah,
the
that's
one.
Riven.
Luckily, though, I had people that had played it before me that gave me some idea of what I was supposed to do, so I think that's why I probably enjoyed it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really weird because computer graphics at that time had not really caught up with everything else, and
Right.
so especially for Myst, the graphics were such a jump forward, even though they weren't animated, that it was really interesting to get to see all the rendered trees and everything else they had.
Richard Basehart says, "Why was there no Thundercats VG?"
Because it's Thundercats? No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It does
I'm
seem
sorry.
like it would be a good choice to the artwork was very lovely and you could do a cool beat 'em up. I mean,
I don't know.
A beat 'em
the
up would
character
be very cool
designs,
for that.
yeah, the character designs were pretty cool.
It probably would have been good, but wasn't. No, I mean, it was late 80s, so I don't know.
Well, I mean, Thundercats, I
Could it
think
have just been a licensing issue? Because so many late 80s cartoons got tangled
I mean, you
up
could say
in
the
that.
same thing about Silverhawks, right? I mean, that could.
well, that was sort of like the beginning of the decline of Rankin Bass. So, like, you're,
yeah.
you know, I don't know, but I just know that they had, like, all of the, you know, Asian animation houses involved. So I don't know, I guess maybe they
Well, I
didn't
mean,
know the
that's why
people, I
we
don't
wonder
know.
why there was never a great Voltron game. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we asked that question when we were kids. We were like, this would be a great
That'd be a
video
great,
game.
like, 4-player game.
Yeah, so everybody's a different line. Would have to
Yeah.
be 5, but yeah, you know.
Well, but you could have, like, 4 of the 5.
Yes. And
I mean, there were plenty of scenes in the show
And
that
I'll make the head.
Jason the 13th says there was a Thundercats video game in '87. Ah, see, well there you go.
Really?
Venkman,
I would have to say, I did not know that. I really didn't. So
Venkman
You know
jumps
I
in here
didn't.
and says, "My work here is done," said Iron Man as he began to leave. The mad scientist yelled, "Hey, what about all this mess?" Iron Man responded, "Let that be a lesson to you. Never play with your boogers."
Gross.
I'm glad you made
It's the
me
truth.
read that
It's the
missing one
truth.
because the whole plot hinged on the booger part.
do not play with your boogers.
Yeah, Leo Convoy says there was only Leo Convoy. Sorry, there was only one Thundercats video game made in the '80s, and it was a reskin of a previous project, so it just wasn't suited for
So
it.
it was like a Mario 2, is what it was.
Timothy Tangeman? I don't know how to say it. Says,
Tangeman?
how does Guinness reinstate Billy Mitchell when Twin Galaxies refuses to? That's insane.
I guess they just can, but you know, it depends on who you consider to be the
Because
the
he gave
golden
him that
source.
sweet, sweet money.
Well, it's a weird.
Remember when Guinness was like the Bible? Like we just believed
Yeah,
anything that was in
yes.
Guinness.
And now it's like whatever.
Yeah, all right, man.
Hey, I opened more doors than anyone. Okay, you're in the Guinness Book of
That's
World
such a great
Records.
example of the
I mean,
stuff I see in there.
it's
I
like-
opened more doors on the northern
Prove I
hemisphere
did it.
Than
than
anybody
anyone
else.
else in the world.
But unfortunately, my video recorder kind of crapped out
Yeah,
right at
crapped
the
out
last
on
moment.
doors 6,432,000.
All right, sorry about that. The link to the RetroBlasting Discord server for anybody who's interested is now in the video description. So anybody who refreshes or whatever
What
will
is
see
Discord?
it. Discord is a
I
interesting
mean, aside from
chat
like
community.
our world,
It's an interesting chat community.
You really don't like that application is called Discord.
I don't.
Like anytime it comes up, you're just like hate.
I'm angry about it.
Everything just turns.
I don't
dark.
understand what it is. It's like a little
It's
chat
just a-
room.
It's just a.
It's-
like
Are
a
we? Is
chat-
it the '90s again?
It's a chat room. I don't quite understand it, but Lio understands it, and Tim seems to understand it. a
okay,
little
yes,
bit.
it is. It's like you got your own little rooms. We
Aaron.
use it for.
You understand it, right?
We use it for WoW, like when we're playing World of Warcraft. So it's just like this place that everyone can jump in, and you can either talk through voice or you can, write things with your fingers, and send it to people. And it's kind of just that. Like it's just a place to sort of take all the communications and
So
bundle them
yes,
together in
it's
one
90s
place.
in his chat rooms.
Except
Thank
it's
you.
2020,
It's all
and
I
it's
need to
not
know.
a chat room.
It's
So,
a more intense version of ICQ.
It's like
You
intense
have it right,
ICQ.
Melinda. You're right. Don't worry, you're right.
Thank you.
But I still don't know why she always like Discord.
Prime Syndicate says, so I was looking at Williams-Sonoma wedding registries
Nice.
and saw that something interesting is happening in a few weeks. Congrats.
Wow, that is a weird flex right there. Like figured it out for
Wow.
the Sonoma wedding registries.
I'm just impressed. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying anything else other than
Have you considered-
I am impressed.
Have you considered a profession in being a detective? Because that's
Well,
some
I
good work
honestly
right
was
there.
just waiting for somebody to say it because it's really just
Wow.
not hard to figure. Anyway,
Wow. Just wow.
And she wonders why I was like, look, let's not make this whole thing about us and ourselves.
I wasn't
Like,
trying to
I
make it
know.
about
no,
us
but,
and
but see
ourselves.
now,
You're not the one that's going to have to write the thank you notes, so I don't want to hear about
Well,
it.
here's the thing. It's
Now.
getting late, and we have many
oh, okay, so
many
we'll start
things
clearing the
to
table.
open.
Okay.
And I've got a reasonable suspicion that the after show is going to be lit.
What are we talking about on
In
the
more
after
ways
show?
than
No,
one.
we don't know. We don't know. It's
There's a few things we're doing.
it's a mysterious. It's a mystery. Yeah, there are some impressions.
Hey, look who I have, Michael. It's Dazzler.
I'm going to come over here and sit with you.
Cool.
I haven't touched your leg.
Oh man.
What's up, man?
Not much. So, wow, reading this chat thing.
It's fun, huh?
Yeah, you used to do that.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm kind of tired now. But everybody's doing great. Everybody's doing real good.
Yeah, well, I mean, everyone's very active. It's nice.
Hmm But you know, I can't read everything that's going on back here.
Well, that's why I was like pinch hitting. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. Nice. Good job with
Thanks.
that.
I see. I'm
Very good
practicing
job with
my
that.
sports lingo to see if I can figure out how to correctly use it in a sentence.
Did we see a good movie to watch in the list?
I actually copy pasted like the whole. There were a lot of really good choices. So
Yeah.
thank you guys very much. Those were very helpful because sometimes when it's like we need to come up with a movie to watch real quick for this thing, and it's like I have too many movies that just kind of flood into my head and I almost go blank. Like it's just.
And she asked me, and I'm like, hey, whatever you think is cool, so I'll watch it. Because I was never a huge horror movie aficionado, so it's hard for me to.
Scooch
They
over
can
there.
still hear me. It's fine. Nobody needs to see this.
Could you please get out of his eye line?
Well, I mean, I'm just.
How unprofessional. Really? Really?
Aaron pulls a Christian Bale.
That's where I was trying to go with that.
So unprofessional.
If you guys haven't seen that, you should check it out.
Ew. Oh, Buckaroo Banzai. Please, Melinda, watch it.
I do need to watch it.
And I do too, and I need to watch it with you.
I've been
It's
working
on-
on Tim to watch Buckaroo Banzai
It's
forever.
on my list of things.
I saw that when I was a kid, so I probably irrationally loved that movie, but it was a very fun movie back then.
I mean, I'm definitely open to liking it. Sometimes I'm not with movies, but
That's true.
yeah, it's kind of like Discord.
What's the last movie that you weren't like that for?
You mean that I went in with a totally open mind,
That you were like, nope, I'm not watching that movie.
but then I watched it?
I don't know. Did you? What is the movie?
There's a movie that, let's see. Well, like I dug my heels in and wouldn't watch any of the new Star Wars movies.
Ah,
I watched The Force Awakens. I haven't seen either of the other two because I was like, I'm going to hate them. I don't want to waste my life.
I still haven't sat down to watch the most recent one, Rise of Skywalker. The Rise and Fall of Western Civil as Skywalker.
There's some super chats.
Hey, wow, back to back. Vinkman says, did any of you play the Star Wars Trilogy arcade from the late 90s? In the Echo Base level, I was shooting at Wampas. R2-D2 and C-3PO ran by, and I accidentally hit R2-D2, or R2. He spent the next couple of minutes bleeping angrily at me. So they actually programmed that.
Yeah, I did play that. I played that at a movie theater in Syracuse when I was in college at a mall there. The one thing I didn't like about that arcade game, as much as I love Star Wars, was that it felt very much on rails. It was kind of like, and this is the next scenario.
I didn't like
and,
that either.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like you're on a little cart.
Yeah. Like, even though these levels are repetitive, you have free motion within the levels. So, yeah.
And Lio Convoy Reviews says, I already told Melinda, but since we're talking games, how do you all feel about Rambo being added to Mortal Kombat's new game?
I mean, I just think it's weird. but
It's like a
it's
crossover
fine.
nobody was really
I
looking
don't
for.
really quite understand why it's Rambo and not like. I mean, I don't know enough about the game. Doesn't Rocky make more sense? Isn't it a punchy, kicky game?
Well, but Mortal Kombat ends in a grisly fashion for the loser.
Yeah, it's usually very gory.
I just don't see how that.
So like a knife slicing
I
someone's
guess if it's
spleen out
Rambo
would
from
be.
Rambo 2, then it's kind of okay because it's kind of a video game-ish movie, but.
Yeah. It's
Jeez.
like they're always trying to mash things together now. They want to mash everything into everything else. Who puts the chocolate in my peanut butter? Who put the
that
peanut
looks like
butter in the
Deadpool.
chocolate?
It is a Deadpool, but
I hope it fits me.
I think it does. I think it's your size.
He can tell by looking at it.
No, I just know her preferences for how she wears her T-shirt. She's got a very '90s mentality about.
Well, it just depends. Like,
I think this is for you, dear.
I don't know if it's intended to be for me, but guess what?
Everybody wants
It's
a
gonna be
Deadpool
mine
T-shirt.
now.
Yeah.
It's mine now.
You should show it to the camera.
I haven't even seen it. What's it say?
I'll hold it for you so you can see.
Nice.
She has like 5 Deadpool shirts.
I do. I have one where he's like he's riding a unicorn. It says maximum effort.
And you have another one where he's riding a cat that's a unicorn.
Yeah, a catacorn.
Do you ever wear all of them at the same time?
No,
That
that's
would
too
be
much.
so epic.
It's too much.
Whoever sent this,
That would be
thank you very
maximum
much.
effort.
This is
Does
awesome.
it say? Does it say on
It's
the
got
thing?
the gift receipt. You'll have to type in the
Scuba
code.
Pete and Leslie.
Oh well. Sorry, it was double printed. Sorry.
They
Thank
included
you,
it?
Scuba Pete and Leslie.
Last one of those I got, there was
Thank
no info. I just
I don't
had
know
to
if
go
that was supposed to be for him, but it's mine.
type in the that long weird.
This
URL.
happens often. It's okay.
Yeah, Scuba
This
Pete
is
actually.
yours.
Scuba Pete came in and said Oscar for Melinda and Deadpool for Michael.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry.
Scuba, I just want you to know that
She has claimed both.
she's claimed both of them, and that's okay. So,
Can't wait to watch this.
That was quick.
That was very quick.
We just talked about that last week.
mean, this is my comedy, and I
It's got Tim Curry in it. I mean,
I always wanted to, act next to Tim Curry. He's
Can I just say that Stallone looks sharp in that photograph on the front?
I mean, yeah, he's got like the braces on with the suit pants, and
he's like Rocky in Rocky 3 and 4, where
And
he's like
he's
very,
looking at the camera like. what-
especially Rocky 3. Do you remember in Rocky 3 where he's like
Oh
very,
no! Oh no!
What? John Landis?
Oh, John Landis.
Oh, Michael does hate John Landis, so now he
Wicked
won't hate
person,
the movie
thank
no
I
matter
won't
you.
hate the movie. I like Trading Places despite John Landis.
Wicked person, thank you very much. Carousel Mall in Syracuse was our stopover on trips down to America by car.
That's the one.
Big arcade there.
That's the one. Carousel Mall. Built on a landfill, possibly toxic. Who knows?
I know all about that.
Oh wow.
Paper. Yes.
I remember having the
Is
conversation.
it square?
Look, it's the biography of Tom Neal, the RAF pilot in the Battle of Britain. God, I cannot wait to read this.
That looks hefty, man.
Yeah,
Man.
check it out.
It's
Yeah.
from Scott Hughes.
Well, Scott Hughes, it's first of all, Scott Hughes is a longtime friend and supporter of the channel. Thank you so much, man. And I will be
The butler
reading
did it.
I will be reading this very soon. I promise.
Okay.
I've been on a World
Here's-
War II kick
Here's
as well.
Michael's pile, and here's my pile. I'm gonna fold this guy.
We're gonna see whose is bigger
That's right.
at the end. I guess somebody loves them more.
Mortal Kombat.
Lord.
All right, this says, "Do not bend, fragile." From Keith.
The first thing he does is bend it. That's what I do. I'm
Rip.
bender.
Uh,
I don't think that.
you do it your way, and I'll do it my way.
Up there, it's their time. Down here, it's our time. It's our time down here. Up there, it's their time.
Goonies never say die.
I just don't want to damage it.
Then don't damage it.
So, Aaron,
Yes.
how's it going?
It's going super great. I was just about to ask you how you were doing over there.
I'm Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. You know.
Super
Michael, this is
glad
what
to hear that.
happens when I'm not over there.
Look,
Tim doesn't like anything about what we're doing right now.
Do 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 do. Oh my god. I used to watch that show so much at my grandma's house. I don't even know like when it came on or why. Like, but it was just like it's burned into my brain. Hey, do you guys remember Tic-Tac-Toe? Do you guys remember that show?
Oh,
do
yeah.
Do you remember that guy that was on there for like a year? Because he like
A lot of them
won.
were.
This guy won.
Oh, you mean the contestant?
The guy, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the contestant who just kept winning, and he wasn't cheating, and he was like an Air Force or Army guy, and he would come on in like full uniform, and his wife was there, and they won like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and like he was one of the biggest long time.
Is there more
big
stuff
winner.
to open? I think he might have
Wouldn't
opened
it be
it.
funny if it was something like this big?
It was 1 atom thick.
Oh, cool! It's an issue of the Star Wars comic that sort of simulates the Kenner action figures. Even has a yellow lightsaber in Luke Skywalker's hand. That's awesome. Thank you, Keith.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is super heavy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I hope it's not uranium.
I watched the Manhattan Project this morning.
Why does he keep saying that? Is something
Ooh.
wrong with the gravity
The
in
one
the
with
future?
John Cusack? Why would you watch that? The one with Paul Newman?
Well, it just made me get over here faster.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one with Laura Dern?
Just
Yeah.
gonna
Just keep
naming
yelling out actors. It's fine.
I'm just trying to make sure. John Cusack melts in that movie.
people. Ew. I hope they poured him into a mold.
What kind of a mold would you pour John Cusack into?
A little airplane.
It's a box within a box.
It's gonna be just box after box after box.
It must have
Wait, there's a
been.
note. There's a note. There's a note.
It must have been Boxing Day where they are.
What does it say?
It says, it's from Sal. To
To-
go with those moon pies.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
What?
He said he was doing it.
Holy cow.
Well, I'm personally
Very
glad
nice.
it's those because I have no desire to have those at all. Oh man, look how it's ripped in half. That's hilarious.
Thank you, Amazon, for your innovation in packing.
Boy, their packing algorithms have gotten
I know.
destructive. You know, it'd be more efficient if they just poured all the sodas into a cube-shaped space. Just got it out of the cans.
One of those camping bladders.
Yeah. Like a box of wine.
Oh, wow. What is this?
It's a break bar.
Fragile Burrique Bar.
Fragile.
Fragile. I'm gonna stick this in my stack even though it's not mine.
He's mesmerized by his hair. Look at it.
No, Richard, I don't have enough soda, but I do limit myself to like one a day usually. But less than one a day. But on live stream days, sometimes I end up having 2 total.
He tends to binge drink soda on live stream days. Here's a note.
Michael and Melinda, find some more Jerry Anderson items for the archive. Also included is an item from my own archives for Melinda. Cheers, Jody. Jody couldn't make it to the live stream today, so he's probably going to, let me know that he missed the unboxing. Too bad, Jody, you missed the unboxing. All right, what do we have here? We have
An excellent video
PC
game.
CD-ROM version of Star Wars, the Lego video game.
I love that game.
We're going to have to figure
You
out how to
do.
get it onto your laptop.
I do want to put it on my laptop.
We-
'cause I wanna
External
play-
CD-ROM drive for the win.
We have carded mint condition die-cast vehicles for Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons.
Mr. Otten.
I never knew Captain Scarlet had that subtitle.
And the Mr.
I'm
Otten.
still learning about Jerry Anderson's stuff beyond Thunderbird, so forgive me. Oh, it's an empty box. So we have more Captain Scarlet die casts for the Angel Interceptor jet fighters.
Those are some cool looking things.
I
And
assume this is just an empty box. box as well.
Just like filler.
This is an empty box. That's an empty box.
Wait,
Well-
is that like Dutch shake and bake?
It looks like, yes, sort of.
Oh,
I can't really read.
it's culture.
So.
All right. So now I'm all in on Captain Scarlet. So that means I'm gonna have to just
You're
fully
gonna have
commit.
to drink RC and collect more Scarlet.
And watch Oscar.
And I'm all out of Scarlet.
RC Cola, moon pies, and marionettes. I can't think of a creepier
What an
day.
explosive combination.
You've got that overhang over the.
We've got to save the world.
I like that. I think you're gonna have a hard time.
I'm going to gently save the world.
This is from Sal. Sal, by the way, I've said this on every live stream almost. Sal runs 2 Cents Toys, and that's a YouTube channel that I highly recommend for anybody that collects modern, because I collect modern on a discretionary basis, but I don't like watching a lot of modern reviews. But Sal writes reviews or films reviews that tell you exactly what you need to know about that particular figure. And if you haven't subscribed to 2 Cents Toys, highly recommend you do it. It's something that I religiously watch. Take this note and stick it up your nose. I mean, read this first, Sal. And then at the bottom it says, "This note is sick, bro."
Pretty damn good.
I think
so.
that note just critted, man.
I
That's
know.
pretty amazing.
All
Michael is
right.
brutal when opening cards.
Yeah, boxes just like. This is amazing. We can't even show
Tim,
the
you have to come
camera.
over here and see this.
This card is amazing. Everybody look at my card.
Okay, that wins.
That's mean
That's a
to do
complete
that to the.
win.
Okay, so what it says is in this beautiful, elegant font. I won't say it. It says, "You're the SH blank T," and
It's like, who
it's,
finds it?
It's the juxtaposition that makes
It's
it work.
awesome. It's awesome.
That
pretty
would be
great.
a card I want you to
Notice
get
when
in
you
the
open
radio.
it to read it, it'll just be upside
I'm
down on
keeping
camera.
this card for all time. Keep digging. There be treasure in this box.
Oh my god.
Much like an awkward teen trying to find a shirt that fits, this box was the closest. Inside is an assortment from Mega Constructs to Marvel Legends. I do hope the RC Cola from Amazon arrived okay. And tastes great with those RC cups and moon pies. Keep the awesome work up, and thank you for the long nights and early mornings to bring everyone the fruits of that work. Very respectfully, Sal. For the fellowship.
Nice.
This is what a play button
And
would look
my
like
axe.
if YouTube gave them out for who has the most integrity. I know it's not the silver button, but hopefully it's a good placeholder.
That's very,
Very kind of you, Sal.
very classy,
Thank you.
Sal.
I am loving seeing these notes come in with this kind of old school writing style like we had in the 80s.
Yeah.
Where people would actually draw these ornate things on their letters and notes.
I still have
Like,
notes
what's the
that I
craziest
passed
note
in
you ever
class.
got?
Oh, I've got them all. I literally kept all of the notes I passed in class and stuff like that. And like we would draw just like this. We would draw weird stuff on it, and you know.
Michael French, do you like me? Yes or no?
So first we have
I wrote that on all of my
Oh,
notes.
Tim.
Everybody was so weirded
we
out.
have Predator Constructs figures
What?
of Dutch from
What?
yeah. Come on, I'm here. Do it. Build me now. Build
That is
it.
so awesome.
If it builds, we can kill it. So there's Predator Mega Constructs, dude. And then we have Back to the Future Time Machine DeLorean miniatures from Jada, which I know you love those miniatures, Tim.
Yes.
Oh, it's not going to stand up because they're too heavy.
Well, they are cars, Michael.
Cars.
Girl.
Oh, wow. Look at that creepy.
Jeez.
You just like
This
Look
is
how
the...
creepy it is.
He sent the retro Spider-Man Green Goblin that came out in the
very
Marvel
cool.
Legends line.
The Green Goblin, no less. Not the
Yes.
Hobgoblin.
Oh, wow. He sent a Mega Constructs He-Man versus Beastman figure pack.
Here.
There, I did it. I got it.
I know, but I feel like it's going to be easier if we just set this here.
Oh,
Right, and then you
okay.
can
Okay.
find purchase for your items.
Oh, wow. God, Jada's really knocking it out of the park with these
That is
die-cast
pretty
miniatures. He sent the Batman animated series die-cast Batmobile and figure set.
Looks cool.
That looks sharp.
Oh, that does look good. Hang on, I gotta get close up to that one.
He's like,
Oh.
yeah, that's my car.
And he sent the movie version.
That's
That's what I'm talking about right there. Oh, man.
Is that a Deadpool-related object?
Yes. Yes, it is. It's Cable from Deadpool 2.
Where's the bear?
The bear's
there,
on.
okay.
Yep, he's got the bear.
It's not safe unless he's got the bear. That was a nice one.
Oh, I love that. What? And Deadpool and Negasonic.
Mm-hmm. Those are sharp-looking figures.
Yeah, they really are.
They are.
That is awesome. I cannot wait to put these on display.
Look at a little unicorn.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Sal. This is a Tim thing all the way. It's a action vinyl Zodak. I don't even know what line this is from. He even has his blaster. Oh, they have a King Randor one. I might have to get that. He's very
He
important.
kind of looks like the Burger King guy.
People know him.
He's just gonna show up and stare at you through your window.
Oh, is that the end of that? Okay. Sal, thank you so much, man. I'm blown away. I will be taking photos of all of this stuff toot sweet, as they say in other countries. Just don't give me that face. Just don't.
Fine, pay for it.
All right. We now have the final box from Carl Costa. Carl, thank you so much for sending a box.
I'm literally Mystery Science Theater in this live stream.
And that was when you turn over and you just see that. That was great.
Oh, there's a note.
That's a way to get it seen.
It's Gojatron. It's from Gojatron. Hello, Michael, Melinda, and the entire RetroBlasting team. Yes, even you, Broken Vader. He will. I appreciate that begrudgingly. He won't say so, but he will. I've been enjoying your content for quite some time, for not only the content, but the quality and attention to detail that you put into each video. You're very welcome. I've been a fan of just about everything you talk about on the channel for decades, but your extensive research on each topic always reveals something to me that I didn't know. I always look forward to your live streams each week. Always great information, a lot of fun. Michael, you had mentioned in a live stream after show that you had an interest in acquiring the toy line that I've sent you. It's not the entire line, but it is the entire first wave, which is a good start. The packages are not in the best condition, so I hope you will burst them open and have fun with them. Sincerely, Gojatron. Well, I can't wait to see what's in the box. Oh, before I put this away, I just want to quote Cable from Deadpool 2. Jesus. All right.
Oh, look at the little unicorn.
That's what I said.
See, there's a lot of crossover interest here. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's in this box.
Stuff. It's like Tim's mic is right there for
What?
the crinkle sound out of the box.
What did he send?
You're not going to believe this. I can't even believe this.
I'm trying to remember
Oh my
what you just
God.
expressed interest in recently.
You're not going to believe this.
Oh man,
This is unreal.
man.
Holy crap.
Ha!
Ripley from Aliens, from Kenner, from the early 90s.
I didn't even remember them making that.
Hicks
I didn't see a lot
from
of it.
Kenner. Scorpion Alien. This is crazy. Drake. Apone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he wasn't kidding. This is back when a first wave was like a real thing, like not just 3 figures and a HasLab offer.
Dude, these boxes look sharp.
I know.
Too, by the
Bishop.
way. Michael, we need to get you a shelf with like the hangers on them, so that you can like build your own toy aisle.
Build my own hills.
Yeah.
My own vintage Zayers.
The
When you
whole
need-
line, I swear.
Bull alien.
When you need peace and quiet, you can just go walk down the
Oh, I
row.
remember these.
Uh-huh. Alien Queen.
That
with-
is. That's some like Todd McFarlane level stuff going on there.
Gorilla alien. Oh no.
Domino alien.
ATAX Space Marine with alien disguise and helmet mounted missile. A boxed power loader from the end of the Aliens movie. Get away from her, you bazitch.
Smooth.
My gosh, this is first run.
The Space Marine Stinger XT-37 vehicle. Oh my, you're kidding me.
Wow.
And the evac dropship fighter.
My
What?
goodness, that's insane.
That is insane.
You know what this means. This means I'm going to have to go find...
Boom.
I'm going to have to go find...
The one piece that's not included.
I'm going to have to go get Vasquez and the Wave 2... Gojatron.
Oh, he's angry.
No, I'm not angry at all. I just don't know.
Oh,
I can barely see you for all the aliens. I really want the little cat, the little orange cat.
It's like his whole like shooting schedule is flashing in front of him right now.
That's true. He's just thinking of.
He's like just.
Hey, Vasquez. Has anyone ever mistaken you for a man? No. Have you?
Wow.
I,
I love
Gojatron.
I love it when he's speechless. myself.
Gojatron, thank you so much, man. I don't have an excuse at this point.
You know what's funny is like constantly people are like, are you ever gonna do the alien stuff? And Michael's like, I don't have any of it. So now, like you're saying,
yeah, this is the entire first run of stuff. So
Yeah,
okay.
everybody's excited about the idea of an aliens video.
yeah, I mean, at first, look,
So, question for you, since
Yeah.
I'm not as versed on this, was there stuff like this for Alien, or was that just completely?
there
skipped?
was an intended toy line for Alien from Kenner in the late 70s, 79.
that was back when they didn't make as many toys out
Yeah.
of R-rated properties.
Right.
Yeah,
and they
absolutely.
ended
That's
up-
why I was wondering.
they-
But I would love to collect H.R. Geiger inspired.
Well, then you want the original 79 Alien.
Yeah,
The-
it is pretty cool.
It was the only thing they made from the intended line. The action figure line was prototyped and never got made. Super 7 made it a few years ago. They brought it out of mothballs and made it.
Had they actually made the molds, or were they? Did
they
they
had-
just go with the specs?
They had the
on it?
molds and the prototype figures, I believe. Somehow they recreated it, maybe even forensically from pictures.
Yeah.
But
Super chat.
oh,
Gojatron himself says the exact reaction I was hoping for. My work here is done.
I'm just shocked, dude. Like I'm just
He's processing.
so I'm gonna be researching Wave 2 to make sure I can get Vasquez and Hudson, and I think those were made. I'm pretty sure they were. And Gorman. I can't remember if they made Gorman or not either. I'm gonna have to research it, but I will.
Hey, do you remember in The Matrix
Are they
when
on the
Neo
back?
is trying to shut
Well,
down
this
his
is Wave
computer
1.
and get out of the
okay.
office, and like it kept, saying like, or am I transposing?
No, just keep going because I'm trying to picture the moment that you're describing.
Like when he's trying to get out, like he's like, get out of there. No,
Yeah, and he's on the
I think I'm
phone.
transposing that with Office Space. So remember in Office Space when he's trying to leave, so his boss doesn't ask him to work on Saturday, and he's waiting for all these like programs to close, and they're taking forever because the computer's processing. That's what Michael's doing right now.
But so to answer your question, these didn't come out in '86 with the movie. They ended up coming out in the early '90s.
Yeah, this very 90s looking packaging.
Yeah, but the funny part was this was around the time that T2 came out, and so T2 got toys almost immediately, even though it was rated R.
So they wanted another rated R property.
I guess so. So they just said, hey, let's do Aliens as well, because that was a James Cameron film also. And so we suddenly got an Aliens line.
We got to get these kids interested in watching Aliens.
Yeah, even though Alien 3 is about to come out and it's going to be terrible, but who cares?
Oh, and they knew that.
Oh, they knew. Yeah.
They knew what they had. So they were like, get it out now.
So yeah, I know we're running up on time on the live stream. Guys, thank you so much for just being on the
Everything.
live stream today. And then this is just, I'm going to take a break between now and the Patreon after show, which we do
You
around.
should have a nice warm RC. Just settle that stomach.
Well, I don't know what time it is at the moment. It's
Like, it's a little after.
The time
so,
is
So
4:05.
the way we do this is we generally post the link to the Patreon live stream on the Patreon page. So we'll be doing the after show, and probably about the next 20 minutes to around 4:30 we'll start. But we'll post the link here real soon.
For those of you who are wondering, the after show is Patreon only.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
And
Sorry.
all levels of patron.
All
get to
levels of
see it, so,
patrons are welcome.
And then we sort of just continue the party and talk a little bit more.
But
Yeah.
it's very informal, very much more of a hangout.
Yeah. And Tim Hayes, I'll be doing your impression that you requested on the after show. Wow.
And that's it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really all I've got to say.
Thank you guys so much for everything. All
Yeah.
of the support and all of the
Holy crap.
swag and all of the laughs,
Holy
the
crap.
memories.
Holy crap.
Thank you.
Memories.
Are we good?
The Humpty Dance is your
I don't know,
chance
Tim, are we
to
good?
do the hump.
I think we're
Someone
good.
did request you
Humpty,
do that.
Baby, do the Humpty Hump. Do
Wow.
the Humpty Hump. Somebody asked for that earlier.
Oh, okay. Well, enjoy.
Like at the very beginning of the stream.
That's a great ending.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see some of you on the Patreon after show. I'm working on new videos for this week or next week, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for being here. Hope you had fun. Have a great week.